a big, after say so many all the years. So like, it's going to be different after today.
It is indeed, there's no question about that. Well, as you can see yourselves, the President of Ireland, Michael G. Higgins, and Duke Droncombe and Lucas Scale, Liam O'Neill, are in the tunnel. So let's hand back to Ger as they are about to be introduced to the Croke.
So out they come here, and before the introductions to the two teams, there will be the presidential salute. Well, on a very pleasant afternoon, it's President Michael D. Higgins' second year attending the All-Ireland hurling final as our head of state. Last year he saw his native Galway get so close and then lose in a replay. Of course, he's got very close connections with Clare. He's going across to them first. He was a student at St. Flannan's College there in Ennis. And so now the team introductions are being done by the Banner County captain, Pat Donlan from O'Callaghan's Mills. Pat is 28 now. Given his debut by former manager Anthony Daly, and it's a team of course which includes 7 players from Clonlara and Cratloe, and when you add in subs there are 10 players in all from those two clubs. There's the big tall man Derek Honan, who's from Clonlara, Conor McGrath from Cratloe. It's a second All-Ireland assignment for Brian Gavin from Clare in County Offaly. His linesmen are James McGrath and Johnny Ryan, with the sideline official James Owens. And then the umpires today, Michael and David Gavin being introduced, William Flynn and PJ Lawler as well. Huge day for all of the officials in charge. And now the Cork captain in this final, Park Cronin, who spoke earlier in the year about the honour bestowed on him by Jimmy Barry Murphy when Jimmy phoned him one night to offer him the Cork captaincy. Not an offer he could refuse. Pa is 26 years of age now. He was given his debut by Gerald McCarthy, and it was against Clare in 2007 in Thurles, and he scored a goal and a point that day as Cork won by 7 points. Last man he introduces there is Jamie Colin from Newton Chandram, the famed Liam McCarthy Cup. And so the first part of the ceremonial completed. The official party can now take their seats, settle down and watch some of the finest hurlers take centre stage. And what a day it's been. 7 years since Cork hurlers were top of the bill in September, and all of 11 years since Clare were here for hurling's greatest day. It's certainly long overdue. Perfect afternoon, weather conditions ideal, and the two sets of players now are greeting one another. Players exchanging handshakes as a mark of respect. They know one another so well, of course. Some of them even go to college together. Cork's Luke O'Farrell, for instance, attends Mary I at Limerick, where his fellow students are Colin Galvin and Derek Honan. They all played in this year's Fitzgibbon Cup final against UCC, against the likes of Conor Lehan and Shamie Harnedy. So we're looking forward to it. It should be a really good one.
Yeah, everybody loves each other now. We'll see what happens in a couple of minutes' time, though. Brian Gavin, by the way, the referee today. Let's wish Brian the very best luck and hopes that he has a good one. Eddie Brennan, at least there's no Kilkenny fellas going to hit him today anyway for a start.
Yeah, well, there's no Tipperary lads to hit him and he gets in the way.
Get in here between the two of them,
yeah, he's braving it out anyway. He's not going with the helmet, but yeah, look, it's a massive job and another massive day for Brian Gavin, and you wish him well, I suppose. Look, it's something that's much maligned from time to time, but at the end of the day, he's a very tough job too. But no better man, he's well able for the pressure.
Okay, they're about to get into the lineup and start the parade, so let's just talk finally about this match and your thoughts. Eddie Brennan, the All-Ireland champions of 2013 will be?
For me, I'm gonna just by a whisker the Rebels. I think their backs are going to be a little bit more capable of dealing with the Clare threat, but ultimately, Michael, today it could be the hop of a ball around the square is what it's going to come down to. Unfortunately, maybe one little mistake, and that could be lights out. But for me, the Rebels by a point.
Okay, narrow vote to the Rebels. Everything's going to be a narrow vote, I suspect. Liam Sheedy, who's your narrow vote?
Yeah, marginal cause, I'd say, is going to be the order of the day. But I'm going to give the narrow vote to Clare. I feel that they have really skillful hurlers. I think the skill level of this bunch of Clare hurlers, Gerald Nam mentioned already, I think it's as high as ever they've had, provided they can deal with the occasion. I'm told there's not too much hype down there. There's hype, obviously, when you get to Northern Ireland, but it's not overhype. And I think once they can deal with that and get a good start, I think they'll have enough, just about enough, to get over the line. But I'm really looking forward to this final.
And Cyril, as the elder analyst, you have the casting vote.
Well, after the first 10 or 15 minutes is going to tell a lot. Whoever can settle down, and Liam referred to it there, whoever can going and kind of handle the occasion, even all that kind of, meeting the president, even the shaking hands, and it's kind of it's kind of sham enough, like, what can you do, give a little squeeze and say I'll kill you in a minute, that's part of it, like. But like, even that has to be gone through now. It's a long time to be out there.
Yes.
Whoever can handle that, because I know Cork have tradition, but this Cork team is just like the Clare team. They're new to this. It'll be their first All-Ireland to win, whoever wins it. I just have a feeling if Clare can hang in the first 10 or 15 minutes, they might just shade it.
And I suppose we should mention 10-1 the draw, and we did have a draw last year.
Yeah, well, I mean, if someone wanted to have a novelty bet, I think that would be the bet to have, because, as you said, anyone you talk to, you'll meet for everyone you meet shouting for Clare, there'll be someone ready to shout for Cork as well.
All right. The moment of truth is fast approaching. 2 tribes, 1 trophy, 1 shot at glory, and 70 minutes to sort it all out. To take us through it, Ger Canning and Michael Duignan.
Thanks, Michael. Croke Park is certainly at its most impressive best. What a setting, what a scene. Fabulous camera shot here, way up high, for a final few had imagined they'd be seeing this year. Wise Council was predicting in early May that today's final teams were unlikely to make it this far. Yet here they are, Cork, in their red, of course. Clare, the opposition today, parading proudly on hurling's most celebrated day. And I certainly think the GAA can feel rightly proud of this sense of occasion engendered by All-Ireland Final Day. No other sport in this country, it seems, can match this for pageantry and for the sense of Irishness for so many people. As always, there's this captivating atmosphere, and you get any little bit of space you can and wave your banners. We're going to do it. And you saw another one a little while earlier saying that Jimmy's winning matches. We'll have to wait and see. Fans have travelled from so many parts of the globe to be here. Cork and Clare people as well in far-flung lands are united today watching these pictures to see the 126th All-Ireland hurling final. The build-up has been brilliant but curious, because after the teams met in a league relegation match in April, it seemed the two sides were heading in opposite directions, but then sport can often play tricks with our logic, and getting to this final is a singular achievement in itself. Now winning it at a time they're both meant to be far from the finished product, Michael, well, that would be truly remarkable.
Yeah, absolutely. Look at Gerard, All-Ireland hurling final day, to me, one of the great days of the year. I think sports people throughout Ireland, even if they're not huge, maybe GAA fans, they love this day. And the atmosphere, you can feel it up here. But looking down, the two teams, they look so nervous to me in the parade. Tom Kenny is on the line. Brian Murphy was here as a sub, before, but none of the rest of them have All-Ireland medals. And it's even the Clare lads don't even have Munster medals, and they're here in All-Ireland final. So I think a huge factor today is who's going to be able to handle this occasion. It's easy to say young lads can come and take it in their stride, but that doesn't always happen. And I think whatever team, it mightn't be the classic that we're expecting. I hope it is. I hope it's a fantastic game to end a fantastic year. But a lot will depend on how these young players on both teams can cope with the occasion. The tactics will be interesting. I'd be a big advocate of Clare maybe going back a little bit more direct, like they did in the Munster semi-final with Tony Kelly at 11.
Do you think they'll do that?
It's a big gamble for David Fitzgerald to do that, because it's work to get to the final playing the sweeper, and if he abandoned it today and it went against him, it would look bad on him. But I think that Derek Honan, if he's in there in an orthodox full forward line, he has the potential to win the game. But I hope it doesn't get over tactical. I'd just like to see the players expressing themselves out there today.
Yeah, you mentioned Davy, and there he is. A lot calmer, I think, than 5 years ago when I watched him as manager of Waterford in what was his first year that year. Both teams walked in to Croke Park under the bowls of this particular stadium, and he was calm. He was leading them in, clapped each one of the Clare players at the door, wished them well. Jimmy Barry likewise. 2 men took charge of their squads less than 2 years ago. At that stage, Davy rated Clare as no higher than 10th of the pecking order. Cork weren't much higher. They'd failed to make even that year's quarterfinals, and yet here they are, and they're in the All-Ireland final for 2013. Very little breeze around, thankfully. What breeze there is might be favouring Cork in the first half. They won the toss. They're going to play from left to right, which means they will have their defence down there at Hill 16. There's young David McInerney here, following in the footsteps of the great Jim Powell from Clare. What a year he's had so far. Looking forward to a good game. Young student from Freble College, studying now in Maynooth. A big day for him. His father Jim, of course, was a great player as well. And just before the action gets underway, There's now going to be a moment of silent reflection for two very women who passed away recently. Teresa Murphy, who's the wife of former GAA president and one-time Cork secretary Con Murphy, while Catherine Kelly was the wife of Barry Kelly from Westmeath. Barry was, of course, the referee here this time last year for the drawn All-Ireland final, and Catherine very sadly passed away on Thursday after a short illness. Our deepest sympathies going out now to the Murphy family in Cork and to Catherine's husband Barry and their two young sons. Yesh Love Day Gerev Anonym Luca Ursel, Teresa Murphy and Catherine Kelly. There's a great explosion of noise. Croke Park is a beguiling setting, and for the fifth time this year, Clare meet Cork in competitive action. But this is the one that matters most of all. It's the second Munster All-Ireland final, the first for 16 years, and Brian Gavin from Offaly gets the match underway, and it's Cork who will play from left to right in the first half. Stalemate situation in the middle of the park here. Wait for it to come out to them. Eventually comes out as far as Brendan Bugler. And Brendan Bugler tries to set Clare on their way with the opening attack. That's Shane O'Neill getting it away towards his captain, Park Ronan. Broken up here towards Colm Galvin. Back into the corner again, the shoulder there on Podge Collins. Waiting for it is Dara Conan to come up. Big tall figure, 6'6", challenging Shane O'Neill there, causing early problems. Conor O'Sullivan coming across. Nervous opening to this match by both sets of players. William Egan eventually picking it up. The little hand pass back as far as Anthony Nash, and finally the clearance by the goalkeeper from Canturk onto the 45-metre line of Clare's defence. Again, problems just getting that ball under control for Cian Dillon. He claims it. Linesman on the near side, who was Johnny Ryan from Tipperary, says that's going to be a Clare line ball. This to be taken here by Pat Donnellan. I'm just looking at how they have set up, and it looks like Christopher Joyce is the one who's back as a sweeper or extra defender for Cork at this stage. Clare with four attackers inside the 65-metre line, but that's taken up here by Jamie Colin. Colin looking to try and make some headway, running into several Clare players. Back there is Colin Ryan. The hand pass across here as far as Conor Ryan, his namesake, and straight to the loose man, who is Christopher Joyce. And Chris Joyce gets it away up into the corner here, looking for Conor Lehan, but it's won instead by Donald O'Donovan, and O'Donovan gets away there. Those bright white boots, very visible down as far as Dara Conan. Steadies himself, but it's blocked well. Cross came Shane O'Neill, needs a replacement stick. Quite an edgy opening couple of minutes here, Michael.
Yeah, a little bit nervous. Great play there by Donald O'Donovan out in front of Conor Lehan. He's gone into the corner, Jamie Collin out in the wing, and see Brian Murphy has picked up Tony Kelly. There's a quick line ball now into Dara Conan.
And Dara Conan has this opening shot, looking at the first point, and he's got it. Just over 2 minutes and 20 seconds are gone, and that's a good start for Dara Conan and for Clare. Right out there, near the sideline, settled his feet. There was nobody in to challenge him, however. Good, clever piece of thinking by Clare.
Yeah, great score, and they've been doing that all year, that quick line. Surprised Cork weren't ready for it.
Pressure on the Clare defence here. How will they cope? Picked up here well by Conor Ryan. And the referee has spotted foul inside there, and it's going to be a free. Podge Collins with a puzzled look on his face as the referee was blowing his whistle that time, but it's going to be a free in for Clare, a chance for them to tag on a second point. And this will bring Colin Ryan onto the 45-metre line or thereabouts for his first shot in this All-Ireland final, and a chance to get an early point for him. Very centrally positioned, well within his range, and a chance for Clare to go 2-0 in front. 51 points he scored so far, chance to make it 52, should do so, and he does. Well, that is a very, very good start by the Bannermen. That'll settle them down very, very nicely indeed. Absolutely,
they're an interesting, Cian Dillon has picked up Pat Horgan. He's been the sort of man marker all year. He picked up Joe Canning, and he's in on him. And Clare gone orthodox. I'm not surprised by this. This is what I was predicting during the week. They've abandoned the sweeper system and they're gone man to man. Might just work for them, and might confuse Cork. I might have been expecting something else. Here's Seamus Harnedy clipping it across in here towards Luca Farrell, lets it run on. Look at the number of defenders who gather immediately, and Donald O'Donovan gets it away over the far sideline. It'll be a line ball to Cork. The pressure will remain on that Clare defence. And who wants to take it is Daniel Carney. That was Donald O'Donovan from Clonlara, the 25-year-old. Taken short by Cork in here towards Conor Lehan. Leaves it behind him. O'Donovan's after it again. He's made a good start. Second time to get on the ball. Hand passing it down towards Podge Collins. Challenged there immediately by Conor O'Sullivan. And this time the linesman far side, who is James McGrath, signals that it's going to be a Cork possession. William Egan looks like the man who's going to take it. Egan from Kilbrin in North Cork, which is the birthplace, by the way, of Archbishop Thomas Croke, in whose honour Croke Park, of course, is named. And you're just looking at Clare, the only man inside 50 yards is Derek Honan inside on a one-on-one. If they can get a ball inside, all the forwards have withdrawn way out the field, and they've left huge space inside in front of the goal.
And they'll be hoping to crowd that midfield and negate Cork's creative ability and exploit the space at the other end as Ernie drives it, but drives it inaccurately. But it's a very interesting tactical match. You can see that already, the way Clare have set up, and Jimmy Barry Murphy and his mentors having to react. Everybody had said going into this that they should perhaps stick with the tried and trusted, but you never knew with Davy Fitzgerald. He was always capable of producing something special.
See, as Conor Ryan gone to centre back, Pat Donlan playing in the middle of the field. He's picked up Lorcan McLaughlin. Lorcan McLaughlin scored 3 points in the first half against Dublin. There's Seamus Harnedy now with a chance.
Harnedy swinging it off his left, and that one's got over the bar, and it's the opening point for Cork in this match. It's taken them nearly 6 minutes, but Seamus Harnedy, who's distinguished himself right from the very beginning of this year with display after display, wonderful hurling. 2 points to 1.
Yeah, great first touch there, and a very important score. Settled Cork in. They were very hesitant since the start of the game, but that's a great score.
Joyce goes up, leaves it behind, however. Picked up here by Brian Murphy. It's a wayward pass straight to the other number 5, who is Brendan Bugler. Withstands the challenge. Back here as far as John Conlon. Conlon, 65 metres out from his target. It's a lovely looking shot, and it's got over the bar. What a boost that is for John Conlon. Well, he usually is a consistent, threatening force for Clare, hampered by injury this year, but here he's made it 3 points to 1.
Yeah, that's a great score. John Conlon stretchered off down against Cork in the Munster semi-final, and it was a big loss that day with concussion, but a brilliant score.
3 shots, 3 points by Clare, and that time a bit of a wild swing. The referee has penalised Conor Ryan, and it's going to be a free in for Cork. Chance for them to eat into that lead that Clare have established. And the first shot at the target for Pat Horgan, the Glen Rovers player. 1 goal and 30 points so far this year. 20 of those 20 points coming from frees. This from 50 metres out. Very, very light breeze behind him, but it's mostly a still afternoon. He's driven it straight over. Very good start made. Little to choose between the teams. Yeah, that was the foul.
Yeah, the left hand there, you can see in around the head and just caught him by the helmet. Definite free in.
Conor Ryan, the guilty party, can't afford to give away frees like that with the likes of Pat Horgan. That sails through the middle here, going back, trying to take it. Brian Murphy, but under pressure now, and the pressure being exerted by Tony Kelly. Ever the danger. Tricky angle for him. Wonderful score. Beautiful point by Tony Kelly. Well, he got the angles absolutely right there, because this wasn't easy by any manner of means. Stumbling, pursued vigorously, but he still managed to get that shot in. Great score, 4-2.
Yeah, and he's brilliant at that, Jerry. You know, see the way him shortened the grip, and you know, if his first touch was a little better, he might have been through on goal there. He just fumbled it at the start, but a great point afterwards.
This sailed straight through the centre. Pat O'Connor in the white helmet, number 7 trying to get to it, waiting for it as well is Colm Galvin. Picked up in the end here, however, by Carney. A hand pass outside to Joyce. Christopher Joyce to the piercing Clare, trying to get away, being followed by Colin Ryan there. Hard work being done by both sets of players, and back is Conor McGrath, the corner forward, notionally. One attacking force really as Colm Galvin hits it in. That one force is Dara Conan, and Honan against Shane O'Neill. They've isolated him in there, and O'Neill does well here, but there is some holding.
Yeah, but sure, this is very dangerous from a Cork point of view. We look one-on-one in here. Shane O'Neill's just been held there by Dara Conan for a second, but you know that Cork are leaving nobody back in support there, and if Honan gets one ball there into his hand, it's going to be in the back of the net.
Well, the loose player they have there at the moment is Conor O'Sullivan. It's changed even since the beginning of this match just 9 minutes ago. From this free, up there towards Park Ronan. They follow it in. Luke O'Farrell trying to get to it, and he goes down under the trip that time. The referee has blown his whistle. And Brian Gavin noting the offence. Luke O'Farrell, one of the real dangers for that Clare defence. Pat Donlan speaking with the referee here. It's got to be another free in. Horgan will take it. So this should be 4 points to 3, and little to choose between these teams in the opening 10 minutes.
Yeah, I think Cork will be happy enough, Jerry. They haven't done a lot of hurling. They're only going to be a point down now after this, and you know, it's a bit of nervous obviously early on here now. The game really hasn't taken light yet.
Well, he hit it with plenty of height and loads of accuracy as well, and a second pointed free by the 25-year-old, and now it's 4 points to 3. Clare still the leaders, just over 10 minutes gone in this year's All-Ireland hurling final. That was the trip that led to the free being awarded. Pa Kelly, wonderful young goalkeeper for Clare, looking for John Conlon. He's often the target of the puck outs. Bugler is there just in case it's broken down to him. Conlon got that point earlier on, inside towards McGrath, runs on. Joyce misses it, needs a little bit of assistance there. Shane O'Neill trying to get it away, some fumbling. Eventually it's Joyce who picks it up here. He's grown into the role here of centre half back this year quite considerably. Brian Murphy now slipping the little hand pass back. Shane O'Neill once again, 31st championship match today. Big huge one up there. Inside to the inside forward line towards Horgan. Horgan and Harnedy going after it. Clare standing firm, but again the referee has blown his whistle and spotted a loose hurl that time. A little bit of indiscipline penalised by referee Brian Gavin, and the man who's the guilty party this time is Pat O'Connor. And another free in and another chance to tie up the game. Yeah,
and you'd have to say, you know, all frees, little tip, but they're soft frees to be given away in All-Ireland final, and that's 3 handy frees now that Pat Horgan has got in the last few minutes.
I doubt the manager will be very happy with the level of discipline shown so far. So Pat Horgan to hit this one, low trajectory this time, but the usual result, 3 points out of 3 attempted shots from frees, and the teams tied up at 4 points apiece. Well, it's interesting that in the last match, which was the semi-final of the Munster Championship, his team only got 2 frees against Cork. Colin Ryan took one of them, and the other was a 65. By comparison, Cork got 7 of their scores from place balls. This time it's Colin Ryan trying to advance. This time he's fouled as he was doing so, and he'll fancy taking this free himself, I'm sure. Just caught here. That time Cork's discipline letting them down. Chris Joyce making his way back. He's only 21 years of age, still very much learning the ropes. So Colin Ryan from Newmarket-on-Fergus, the county champions in Clare last year. Very, very reliable free taker normally. This to put Clare back in front again. And this time he's absolutely precise. Second pointed free. That wasn't easy. That was a fair old distance out. It's all very well doing it in the Clare Championship or in other grounds, but here on All-Ireland final day itself, the pressure is immense.
Yeah, they're not easy, any of them, and both free takers, have huge bearing today, but they're at 90%, I think, both of them all year, and they're not going to miss too many.
Nash's puck out here, drops into the hand of Pat O'Connor, down towards Podge Collins, yet to do that kind of roaming role that we anticipate from him. And a couple of times the ball has been aimed down in his corner and it's been misjudged and gone out of play, and he hasn't been able to do anything creative so far, but he is a very, very fine young player.
Yeah, and it's clear, I think, that Clare are targeting Podge Collins' wing. Like David McInerney had a long clearance, went out over the line again. Pat O'Connor, he's in at centre back now. Pat O'Connor with Conor Ryan out in the wing, and this man is playing everywhere for Clare this year, and it's obviously a man marking situation that they're going with today, with Conor Ryan picking up Seamus Harnedy.
Conor O'Sullivan cutting it up here, and one back again by Clare, and it's the strong man Conor Ryan, centre half back in last year's under 21 winning team, down as far as Dara Conan, who won a under 21 medal here in 2009, spooning it through here towards his fellow attacker Conor McGrath, but that was targeted a little bit slowly, and Stephen MacDonald was able to get back. A lot of hand passes go back to Anthony Nash, the goalkeeper, and I'm sure Clare will be aware of that. The other backs have great faith in him and use him repeatedly. That's well taken again by Conor Ryan. He started really promisingly. Colin Ryan now hitting one from a huge distance. It's going to drop short. That was highly ambitious. The other forwards often thank him for it. This time the challenge is on Pat Donlan. There's a Clare player in the square, injured. Meanwhile, Brendan Bugler advances, has a go, but puts it away to the right, and the player who's down is Dara Conan.
Yeah, I was following the clearance of the ball there from Anthony Nash. I didn't see what happened. The umpires are right beside it there, so they would have got a good view of it. They should have a very, very good view. We might even have a camera shot of it. Let's see. Oh, that's Conor O'Sullivan. Is it? No, it's Shane O'Neill, and he could be in trouble. Well, he's marking Dara Conan, and now it's a question of what the umpires have told the match official, and a very, very concerned looking Jimmy Barry Murphy there with Con Murphy. Well, we've seen it all year. We've had a few sending offs that people haven't been happy with, but it was a swipe of the hurl down the head. It's a big call now for Brian Gavin. It sure is. So Davy Fitzgerald wondering whether or not he'll be playing against a team with 14 or 15 at this early in the game, just over a quarter of an hour gone. Dr. Pádraig Quinn out there with the physio, Diarmaid Horgan, looking after Dara Conan. There was a certain amount of jostling going on before that. Where Forna went in as well there to just check on things. Shorsha, Bolton, and now the referee calling aside both of these players. And clearly something happened before all of that. We got the end of it there where Shane O'Neill caught Dara Conan, but there must have been something going on. Well, he's indicating a bit of a handle back, and he's given both of them a yellow card. And I have to say, Shane O'Neill probably lucky there. We didn't see Dara Conan what he did, but he did get a slap down top of the head. Probably not overly malicious, but still we've seen lads been sent off for maybe less this year. Certainly have. Well, they've both been worn now at this stage, so on somewhat thin ice as that puck out comes down towards Park Road, and here comes Daniel Carney from 30 metres out, great save, followed up in there. Luca Farrell can't get it in, and was it picked up off the ground? The referee I think indicates that it was. And Anthony Nash coming up the field, and it's going to be an opportunity for Cork. Anthony Nash coming up here. He's already scored in Championship hurling against Wexford last year in the qualifiers, so there will be 3 on the line if the referee is awarding a penalty here. Now, is it going to be was it inside or outside? It looks like the conventional 20-metre free, so there will be 5 on the line, and Anthony Nash to try his luck. And he's not coming up there just to put it over the bar. There'll be more than 5. Well, he was called up very quickly, but it's only a technical foul, so it's a 21-yard free, but he's definitely, with his power, he's going to go for it. Nash with 5 points already in this year's championship.
Rising, striking off the goalkeeper. I think it went up too high in the air for the goalkeeper, Anthony Nash, to get the connection he wanted, but tremendous save by Park Kelly. At that, and now the goalkeeper for Cork is out of position, and here comes Podge Collins, and Podge Collins drops this one over the bar. A point for Clare, where Cork were going for a goal at the other end.
Well, Jared, that's a huge swing. Anthony Nash threw the ball nearly into the 14-yard line. A brilliant save by Patrick Kelly. He was goading Anthony Nash to go for the goal, and he went out, threw himself in front of it. Great save as well here from Kelly. Ball bouncing away from him. That's a fantastic save in the first place before the pick-up. But that's a huge turning point, I think, early in the game. Great save and a great score by Podge Collins down the other end.
From the puck out, Clare once again on their own half-back line. Pat Donnellan here, getting it inside here as far as Colin Ryan. Low inside towards Conor McGrath this time. Getting away there from Stephen MacDonald from 45 metres out. McGrath shoots, and McGrath puts it wide. And it's just the second wide for Clare so far. Well, what a dramatic couple of minutes here. We could have had a goal for Cork. Instead, a wonderful save by Park Kelly. Courageously dived into this one here. Just flung himself at it, hit his rear.
He didn't know much about it, to be fair, but see where he was. He was nearly out on top of the ball, and very brave and a great save.
That comes off Park Cronin, being marked by Brendan Bugler. Got the stick in there. Out help next is Donald O'Donovan. And O'Donovan from the middle of the park, shooting it off his left-hand side. Drops into the goalkeeper's hand, however, and Anthony Nash now can begin the counter-offensive. Two between them. 19 minutes gone in this All-Ireland final. Back it comes to Colin Ryan. Looking for a support player. Doesn't get one, however. Tony Kelly back helping out. Kelly operating between the half-forward line and midfield. Low inside towards John Conlon. Brushed aside there. Bodies falling to the ground. And there's an injury to one of the Clare players as we watch this again here. Podge Collins going down. And the player who was making contact with him, Daniel Carney there. There's an injury to Colin Ryan. Colin Ryan has got 2 pointed frees already in this match. 25-year-old school teacher who's 25 last Monday. And the medical officers have been busy for Clare so far. And just in case, they are preparing Peter Duggan. Louis Mulqueen there, one of the officials for Clare, who's done so much good years. Just having a word with him should he be required.
A great passage for Clare, I think, in the last 5 minutes. They've taken over their half-back line in particular. Conor Ryan, as I said, left half-back, he's caught a couple of great balls. Pat Donnellan, who's kind of switching between midfield and half-back line. Brendan Bugler dominating there. And really Park Cronin, Seamus Harnedy, Conor Lahan, none of these players have we seen yet in the game. So, Clare got 3 points up after this, and they're well worth their lead, I think.
So it's going to be Colin Ryan to try and get a third point in this match, having recovered from injury. Again, centrally positioned and 50 metres, a little more from the target. And he's certainly in form and on song and feeling confident today. You can sense that. 3 pointed frees. Looks nerveless. 7 points to 4. 21 minutes gone. So far so good for Clare here. Cork needing a lift. It's 10 minutes since Cork have scored. That was a big catch there. One well in the air by Conor Ryan once again. What a match he's playing. All the way down as far as Podge Collins. Darts this way and that. Gets away from Conor O'Sullivan. Beautiful ball inside. Precisely in as far as Conor McGrath. Switching his legs this way and that. And then over the bar. That's a beautifully worked point. That's this new Clare hurling team at their very best. Precise about where they pass it. Confident in their approach. Going past the defenders. Hitting the shots. And getting another one. 8 points to 4.
And that was a great score, Jared. We've seen maybe a couple of aimless balls in there, a little bit of rush of blood, but that was very well worked. Conor Ryan is dominating in the half-back line. Great ball in, and Podge Collins, fantastic ball into Conor McGrath, and a beautiful point.
Connolly Hahn didn't get to that, but he's assisted this time. Coming up to help him there was William Egan. It's got to be Cork's free. Before this match, people were talking in terms of this being a battle of Clare's well-tutored tactical style against Cork's more free-spirited approach. But Cork are looking for some of their forward players in particular now to really make a bigger impact. They've depended on Patrick Horgan's free taking. He's got 3 so far, and he's keeping them very much in this contest. 8 points to 5. The only they've got from play so far, Cork, in the opening 22, nearly 23 minutes, has come from Seamus Harnedy.
Yeah, and 5 of the Clare forwards have scored from play, a point each. John Connell and Tony Kelly, Parry Collins, Derek Conan and Conor McGrath, and only Seamus Harnedy is able to point for Cork from play.
Back once again comes John Conlon. Big huge run in towards Derek Conan, that spells danger. Oh, great save! Anthony Nash got down, somehow managed to keep it out. Should have been a goal for Clare. It's a free out instead. Reminiscent of what happened in Limerick in the Munster semi-final. Derek Conan had goal chances there. He had about 3, but this was a really good one, and he certainly is causing problems. Should have scored. Really good piece of goalkeeping. That was low down to the goalkeeper's left.
But if you watch for the little flick here as well, Jared, just there, Anthony Nash got it away from under his feet. Fantastic save, and Derek Conan did everything right. But with that, again, both goalies have to make great saves at this stage.
This time it's Patrick Horgan, and the shoulder from Horgan. He's still in play here, looking for a support player. There's nobody coming to his aid, and it's Clare who are grouping better. Conor O'Sullivan, hand passed as far as Joyce, and Chris Joyce drives it in there towards the team captain, but across comes the magnificent Pat O'Connor, and O'Connor off his left, back into the middle of the field towards Conor McGrath. McGrath tussling there with Chris Joyce, supported here by Colin Ryan. And Colin Ryan hooked superbly by Stephen McDonald, but it comes back still to Podge Collins. Podge Collins challenged highly there by Stephen McDonald, and a look of resignation in Stephen McDonald as he walks away from that and recognises that this Clare attack really are looking highly dangerous this afternoon.
They are, but they're winning the battle in the air. You know, none of the Cork forwards are competing in the air. Pat O'Connor, fantastic catcher, and he's been brilliant this year to me, the most underrated member of this Clare team. Brilliant ball, and Podge Collins' movement, look where he was, out in the left wing again, and great interplay between himself and Colin Ryan, and Collins won the free.
So just coming up to 25 minutes gone, and Colin Ryan to keep his success rate going. Well, he's pointed from this distance already in this match, so he knows the angles, and he's got it right again. Absolutely perfect free taking by a really talented player. That's 28 points he's got against Cork now in 3.5 matches, and that was that wonderful catch by Pat O'Connor after that. Piece of interception by Stephen McDonald. Cork need to get going as an attacking force. Maybe Harnedy from the St. Eatus club. He's got one, he goes for another one. Well taken in by the goalkeeper, Park Kelly. Not easy. Jamie Collins after him, trying to hook him, and he robs it. And Jamie Collins then a shot which is blocked, but in comes David McInerney, and McInerney tries to get away from the challenges, and the referee has blown his whistle.
Yeah, that David McInerney certainly looked to be fouled there. They're coming across with the ball, he got a slap, and he was going to go down injured. He stayed going, took a few steps, and the Clare lad's not impressed with that decision.
And the Clare fans very, very unhappy with it, that's for sure. And he's pointing out to the referee that he was the one who was fouled earlier on. As you say, tried to keep going.
Yeah, he took a slap across. It looked a free out to me. He stayed going, and it looked to be another slap that came in maybe, but he had taken a few steps at that stage, and I think that's harsh and Clare.
Well, he didn't get the free what he might have, and now Cork can benefit. And Horgan trying to add to his 4 points. Referee bringing the ball in for the protest by Clare into a more central position. Thought they might have even considered bringing Nash up for this one as well, but instead it's going to be Horgan. So the Glen Rovers man, I'm sure, will be considering a goal. A lot of bodies on the line. Drives it over the bar instead. 5-pointed freeze for Patrick Horgan, and it's 9 points to 6, but the Clare fans still furious about that. They're absolutely, there's the knockdown onto the players, onto the goalkeeper's stick, then the ball stolen away, and that was certainly a foul, no question about that. It was by Lehan, but free wasn't given. Cork got a point out of all of that, and now Clare respond here with Pat Dublin running into a cul-de-sac. Not the really stylish final so far that we'd been hoping it might be. A lot of time still left in it.
Yeah, Cork just hanging in there really, Jerry. You know, Clare dominating the game, but there's only 3 points in it.
Well, it might be more than that now, because Podge Collins has driven this one high. The umpires have a look at it and say, yes, that's a very, very good shot. Podge Collins' second point, and now it's 10 points to 6. Clare by 4.
And the quick line ball again, Jerry. You know, we've seen it all year, but brilliant. Collins again, way away from his right corner forward position, picks it up, thinking under feet all the time. Fast enough from Colin Ryan and over the bar. Great score.
More or less a replica of the Dara Conan point earlier on, also from a line ball quickly taken. Now Tony Kelly. And Tony Kelly is out over the near sideline. Wasn't on target anyway, so it's going to be a line ball to Cork. Cork just about hanging on in there still, but they're only 4 points behind. It was interesting in the Munster semi-final as well. I think there were only 3 points between the teams at half-time, and then Cork stormed into it in the second 35 minutes. So you can't dismiss any team's chances at this early stage. Joyce cutting it up. Held beautifully again here. It's David McInerney robbing Luke O'Farrell and then setting off the hand pass judiciously placed into the path here of Colin Galvin. Galvin, 2 men after him. A lot of trickery being shown, but maybe he should have laid the ball off to a support player. McGrath was available to him, he never got it, and instead it's Shane O'Neill, the fullback for Cork, up towards Connolly Hahn's wing, being marked closely there by Pat O'Connor. Back as far as Brendan Bugler, and Brendan Bugler eventually sandwiched by 2 Cork players. He's certainly fired up, they all are.
Yeah, great play by Bugler, but really Conor Lehane was out in front. You know, he should have won that possession, he didn't, and you know, look, you see it there, just too casual, and Pat O'Connor in with a flick and won the ball. And you'd have to say, you know, the Cork midfield and forward line, they've hardly won any possession between them. They relied on a couple of frees to keep them in the game, and Clare are all over them at this stage.
Well, 5 frees so far, and just 1 point from play. We keep on saying it. Seamus Harnady's point earlier on. Colin Ryan. 65 metres out, and the kind of form he's in today, he looks like he's going to convert each and every opportunity that comes his way. 5 out of 5 and 11 points to 6 for Clare, and no more than they deserve. She looks happy. Anthony Nash's puck out, looking for to try and win this. He fumbles, then goes and picks it up at the second attempt, or tries to. Helped out here by Lorcan McLaughlin, we've scarcely mentioned his name so far. McLaughlin and Carney struggling in midfield. Constant pressure on the Cork half back line. This is McLaughlin here up against Colin Ryan.
Yeah, Colin Ryan studies ground, and McLaughlin went with the hand first. You know, it's any sort of a frontal charge like that, you know, to me, Colin Ryan had no choice but to stand his ground there, and that's a soft free for Cork.
Well, otherwise a free that might not have been given their way, but it's been given to Pat Horgan, and another one's gone over the bar. Clare will argue about the decision to give Cork their last 2 frees, but Cork have availed of the opportunity and closed the gap to 4 points again without playing that terribly well. 4 minutes to go to half time. Tar Kelly's puck out down onto the half forward line. 6 from 11 for Clare, 1 from 7 for Cork. Scores from play so far. Conor McGrath, really dangerous forward, tricky operator. Well, this one has gone away to the left hand side. Just their 3rd wide of this first half.
I think he's looking for maybe Hawkeye's intervention, but I don't think it's coming.
Well, Brian Gavin is the one who will call that, should it be required. Can be guided by the officials in the Hawkeye office, as it were. No call this time. Broken down again here. Harnedy flicking it across. Daniel Carney now, the SARS man. Fumbles. Cian Dillon's there. So too is Galvin. Cian Dillon then comes across Seamus Harnedy. Release the ball back once again, and this time it's gone over the bar. And another point from play for Cork. And this one is scored by their midfielder Daniel Carney. His 4th point of this year's championship.
Yeah, good play there by Seamus Harnedy on the ground, lovely little hand pass, and Daniel Carney over the bar, and you know, expected to see much more of him in the game. That might settle him down now, and as we kept saying, that Cork are going to be the happier team. They're only 3 points down, with Clare having dominated possession.
I think Jimmy Barry Murphy and Kieran Kingston, yeah, as you say, will be quietly pleased if they don't concede a goal between here at half time. Tony Kelly with this shot. Lovely score. He's a terrific performer. One of the most eye-catching young players in this year's championship. The ex-St. Flannan's man picked it up, darts forward, and the usual dead-eye accuracy. Wonderful stuff. 12 points to 8.
Yeah, great score, Ger. He's completely two-sided. I think that's why he's so difficult to mark. Very pacey, and that's one off his left and one off his right now.
Just looks the complete hurler, doesn't he? That sails in over the head of Conor Ryan that time. Chance to recover, however. Cork have it. Horgan looking for support players. Lorcan McLaughlin getting more into it now in the last couple of minutes. That's good vision. Picks out Brian Murphy, and Brian Murphy knocks it over the bar. It's only his second ever championship point, playing in his 9th championship season. The ultra-efficient player, playing in his 45th championship match today, Brian Murphy. And he's been on the winning team for Cork 29 times, hoping this will be the 30th. He's made it 12 points to 9.
Yeah, I know as a forward, in my own times, if you brought it back up the field and he stuck one over the bar like that, you'd be a little bit embarrassed about it. But great ball by Lorcan McLaughlin, and Brian Murphy showing all his experience there.
They're just plugging away, Cork. William Egan now, back here. Shane O'Neill has lost his stick. It's going to be a free out, and another little bit of needle there between a couple of players. Just another minute to go before the half-time whistle will sound. Overall, Clare have looked the better team by far in the first half, but still the margin's only 3 points. Anthony Nash hitting a huge one onto the 20-metre line. This time it's caught well by Park Cronin. Good save again by the goalkeeper, Park Kelly. Composed, getting it away out here. Pat Dublin now. Off he goes once again. Luke O'Farrell's after him. Plays it in here as far as Galvin. Colin Galvin to carry it forward incrementally, and that's gone away to the right hand side, and it's a missed opportunity. Point they will probably feel they should have got. A lot of hard work went into that.
Yeah, and I think maybe that's the style of play sometimes. Pat Donlan had the ball, loads of space. He could have delivered an 80-90 yard ball into the full forward line, and he didn't, and it ends up going wide. It can be a bit frustrating for the inside forward line.
2 minutes of additional time now about to be started. Anthony Nash. Huge puck out again towards Cronin, but he's been double marked, and every time that puck out comes down, Clare are anticipating. They're covering really well. Cronin's having to work extra hard in there as well. Lorcan McLaughlin, but again it's a Clare man just with it, and it's Tony Kelly once again. Oh wow, how about that? Shades of Hatalani from back in the 70s. This is one-handed away by Conor O'Sullivan. Back out as far as a free Patrick Horgan. Nobody got near him. He has a go. He drives it beautifully over the bar. A 7th for Pat Horgan. His first to come from play. And the gap tightens to 2 points in the first minute of added time. And Clare must be wondering why they're not further ahead.
Yeah, but Ger, first of all, what a fantastic score. Conor O'Sullivan out in front of Conor McGrath. Played a lovely little one-handed ball up, and Horgan from it must have been nearly 100 yards on the angle straight over the bar. But fair play to Cork, they kept at it. I just think Clare need to play more ball into that full forward line a bit quicker. They're carrying a little bit too much out the field, and the game is livening up now. There's a bit of life in the last 5 minutes, and both teams, I think the nerves are going and they're settling down.
And the crowd is certainly becoming enlivened as well, and they're enjoying it a little bit more. That's Conor O'Sullivan there, winning the free for Cork, which is going to be taken by Anthony Nash. More or less the final 30 seconds of this first half. Huge one from Nash, and that one has drifted wide of the target. It's gone wide. It's only Cork's first wide of this first half, and I think the next thing we're probably going to hear in a few moments' time will be the half-time whistle, with only 2 points between the teams, and very, very delicately balanced for this second half. Park Kelly pucking out. Maybe there's time for one more Clare attack. They would probably feel they could do it another point just to stretch their lead before the break, but they're not going to get it there. Went off Patch Collins. We haven't seen him do the kind of usual roaming that he tends to do in matches.
No, but he is coming across the field here a lot. He scored 2 good points in the first half, both of them nearly from the left half forward position. He is travelling and covering ground, but not playing the same role off out the middle of the field.
William Egan hits it in. Brian Gavin blows his whistle, and the teams go off at half time here, having shared 22 points Podge Collins racing across. It was a Clare team that had 4 points of a lead at one stage. Patrick Horgan's been Cork's top scorer with 7 points. The last one, a wonderful point from play. The team managements will have much to say at half time. Colin Ryan has got 5 points, all from frees. They had a really good goal chance with Dara Conan. Cork had a 20-metre free which Anthony Nash took but didn't quite convert, and at half time here in Croke Park in the 126th All-Ireland hurling final, it's Clare who lead. Clare 12 points, Cork 10. We'll have analysis, lots of comment coming up right after this.
Join Owen McDevitt, Ken Early and Kieran Murphy for a brand new live TV show, along with 3 of Ireland's best-known sports stars every week.
Don't offend anyone who hasn't been.
Second Captains Live begins Tuesday at 10:30 on RTE2.
We're the new artists, the new poets, the new players. We are the next generation. We have passion and ambition. We have potential. We're the entrepreneurs, the restaurateurs. We want to create, to innovate, to rejuvenate. We are the new Ireland.
Lucozade Sport Club Crusade is back, and it's even better. This year, your club will get free match and training kits and clothing in exchange for Lucozade Sport bottle caps. So get your club registered, start collecting those bottle caps and get quality gear for your club. Register your club today at lucozadesport.ie.
By the end of this campaign, this ad will have been seen by over 1 million people. That's over 1 million people finding out about your service, seeing your product, or checking out your business. And you can reach 1,000 of these customers for less than the cost of a fancy sandwich. Oh, a fancy sandwich. For impact, choose RTE Television to reach your customers. Visit the website for more information. Thank you.
Liberty Insurance, proud to be the first partner of both hurling and camogie.
We are at the halfway point in this year's All-Ireland hurling final. Clare leading Cork by 12 points. 2-10. Cyril Farrell, Liam Sheedy, Eddie Brennan here with me in our Croke Park studio. Liam, I suppose if there's one word that could sum up that first half, intense probably is that word.
Yeah, it is. It's very tight. You know, it's hard to get space with 4 points all after 10 minutes. But Clare went on a bit of a burst in and went 4 points ahead, and they've more or less held that lead. They'll be disappointed probably to be only 2 points ahead because they have played a better hurling. I suppose the worrying thing for Cork is that 4 of their forwards are losing their individual battles. You know, up front they're not really being able to get their hands on the ball. That'll be really concerning them. Whereas David Fitz will be very happy. Obviously, all 6 of his forwards have got their names on the score sheet, which is a real plus for him. So I think Clare will be disappointed they're not further ahead. But at the same time, they're the team that are doing all of the hurling. They're far more switched on, and you know, at the moment they're 2 points ahead and full value for that lead.
We talked about maybe nerves being a part of this game, Eddie, before with so many young players. No difficulties assigned to that with a lot of players in the way they've been scoring and the way they've been taking frees and things like that as well.
No, it's been a brilliant start. I suppose the first 5 or 10 minutes things were a little bit nervous, but
Clare showed the better.
Clare are really switched on. That's the one thing that I would have known from the first half. They're concentrating, they're working harder. The Clare backs in particular are well on top. They're absolutely cleaning Cork out in their own puckouts, and the first few points that they tagged on, you know, as Liam said there, all 6 forwards have put their names on the sheet, and Dara Conan's point in particular was just pure concentration. Man, you know, to leave a man loose 40 on the 21.
This is probably the best of all come up here. There's a lot to do here with Tony Kelly. gets it up the second attempt, still a good bit to do, goes back on his favourite left side. They are taking great scores, so Michael, but I don't think Fitz will be too happy at half time because they're well on top. But here again, quick line.
Jimmy Barry won't be too happy with this. Just let a lad take a score like that.
That's the second one.
That's the second one that's after happening, you know. But most important of all, like, I would have felt when they came out in the field, and I'd be always looking at that, is Clare looked that little bit tetchy, they looked a little bit nervous. First 5 minutes they seem to have got that out of their system and they are well in control, not reflected on the scoreboard, and that's typical Cork. They're just hanging in, they're doing enough to stay in there. Pat Horgan's after picking up 3 very, very important points that just kept them ticking over, because Jimmy Barry Murphy can't wait, I'd say, to get his forwards in, because they're not tuned in, they're not attacking the ball, and that's what Clare have done off all their own puck outs.
Yeah, sir, you know, how do you feel, say, as a manager or indeed as a player, when you've done most of the hurling in the first half, and yet you look at the scoreboard and you haven't got that gap that you expected?
Yeah, well, you're not going to let your feelings show to the players that way. David will go in at half time and say, listen lads, we're doing the hurling, we know we're good enough, we're 2 up, let's drive on from there. I suppose the interesting thing from the start was that there was no sweeper back for Clare. They played 6 on 6. Pat Donnelly's gone to midfield, so they're actually playing orthodox, which is kind of unusual. Like, that's the first time for a good while. So there's
unusual to be played.
Yeah, well, it was nothing to counteract. He will be disappointed in his own in the sense that he would feel there should be 5 or 6. Cork are still in. Pat Horgan has been immaculate from frees really, and they've picked up an odd point here out the field. Murphy picked up a great point, and so did Daniel Carney. They're staying in the game even though they're out of it. Now a goal is going to have a terrible bearing. Like Nash brought off a great save, and so did Patrick Kelly.
Yeah.
And where you had the feel if Clare got a goal to start the second half, maybe they could push on. But with all the ball they have, they're still in danger because they haven't pushed on, and Cork are still very, very dangerous.
Anthony Nash did there was a good save made by Kelly, but Cork might have had a little bit of a penalty claim out of this. They felt anyway.
Yeah, I suppose it was a great chance for Cork. I mean, Daniel Carney would probably be disappointed when he looks back, and I mean, he shot from outside the 14. When you got top class scorers, you got to get in, and Patrick Kelly picks the ball off the ground, and I'm not sure whether they talk. We were surprised. Maybe we thought he might put the ball over the bar, but don't underestimate. That's a fantastic save by Patrick Kelly. That's not an easy shot. Ground shot onto the ground, made a great save, and panicked a little bit, picked the ball off the ground, and it's a 21-yard free. And I mean, Anthony Nash has got a really good shot in the ball. But watch here, look how far he's out. I mean, he's come way off his line, and that ball should have been retaken. And it was a double blow for Cork because the ball ends up going back down the field. Anthony Nash isn't in the goals. Shane O'Neill has gone back minding the house, and Podge Collins picks it up and pops it over the bar. So that was a real hammer blow at that stage for Cork.
And to come in on that, I think we talk about in soccer, look how close all the players are. They certainly weren't outside the D, and it's a little bit hard on a free taker. We've seen Tom earlier on in the year. Definitely that should have been pulled back. He nearly went out and nearly met himself, and Anthony Nash nearly collided.
He's not supposed to leave the line, but he did leave it. But I suppose it brings up another point for a future thing. Should we be allowed? You're allowed at the moment to throw the ball up. He's at 6 or 7 yards in. It's only 14 yards by the time the let's hit it. So it's for future debate. Clare will be happy to get away with it because like a goal at that stage of Rockton, because Cork have got a few lovely points for half time to keep just hanging.
Yeah, but Clare had a goal chance themselves, Liam.
Yeah, Anthony Nash again coming to the rescue. I mean, the ball was coming in. I'd say it was an effort for a point to drop short, and they got a goal off this in the semi-final. But Darren Conan is in there in the 1-1. He's in there quite a bit in his zone, and Shane O'Neill does well to defend it, but he gets a great pull in it. In fairness to Anthony Nash, not alone does he save it, but he manages to get a little flick in the ball because Conor McGrath was coming in.
Brilliant
and
save.
That was a vital save. I would say at that stage, if Clare to get a goal, it would have been really game over. I think they would definitely put him in the driving seat.
Conan let it on the book, like still a great save, and he didn't foul it. It's terrific enough going to his left, but the big thing is that when Nash goes on it, he doesn't pick it off the ground, he wins it back to himself, wins a vital free out. He's trying to drive the team from the goalkeeping position.
Sure. Okay, time for another short break here on the programme. We will be back right after these.
Centra, sponsors of the GAA Hurling Championship.
The Rabba Direct Pro 12 season is back with live coverage of Leinster versus Ospreys. Saturday at 5:05 on RT2.
The power to steal a crown and lift a county. The Electric Ireland GAA Minor Championships.
Welcome back again. The second half is fast approaching, but in the meantime, let's get some further views on today's final as we head down to pitch level and join Clare McNamara.
Yes, Michael, I'm joined by a fairly anxious Cork man and a fairly anxious Clare man, I think. Clare the better side in the first half, but obviously you'd like them to be further ahead.
Well, do you know, Clare, before the game I'd have been happy if we were within 3 points of Cork. Now we're 2 points up and I feel disappointed because really Clare seized the initiative right from the go, and you know the basis of that was the matchups Clare got in the half-back line. Every one of them are working absolutely perfectly. Cork are winning no ball there whatsoever. Harnady's been beaten by Ryan, Cronin is been beaten by Bugler, and Pat O'Connor is outstanding on Lehane. Now, when we were 5 points up, I thought we should have pushed the game on then, because in the last 5 minutes Cork have come back into the game. Now they have the initiative going in at half-time. I was glad half-time has come because we were beginning to slip. Hagen was coming out the field, got a great point, an inspirational point. So Davy has a chance now to settle them down and start again where they started in the first half. But it's there now for Clare to win it.
Tomas, you must be happy, I suppose, that Cork are only 2 down.
Yeah, management would be happy that they're only 2 down, but if you're realistic, it was maybe a poor first 20 minutes from them. We were beaten in a lot of areas of the field, but particularly in our half-forward line, you know. We went long with an awful lot of puck-outs and they just came back up the field again, you know, and it put an awful lot of pressure on our own defenders. But they've got themselves back. I mean, John mentioned, when Clare were 5 points up, the game was there for them to go on 6 points, 7 points up, and when they go into that lead, they're very hard to peg them back. But Cork will be happy. 2 points down, I mean, it's there from some. Played particularly well in that first half period. They get an opportunity, second 35 minutes, but we got to open them up. It's very, very tight, particularly in our half-forward line. We've got to get wit into the game. We've got to pull fellas out the field and get it into the full forward line. When we got it in, we looked like getting a goal once they got inside to the full forward line. That probably a goal will decide it at the end of the day.
Okay, as predicted, all to play for. We are looking forward to it. Gentlemen, for the moment, thank you, and back up to you, Michael.
Clare McNamara there. Now, by the way, let me just remind you that you could win a week in the Maldives in our big competition today. Details coming up after the second half here at Croke Park. In attendance, by the way, of 81,651 here at Croke Park today. There was an incident in that first half, gentlemen. Yellow cards handed out to Shane O'Neill and Dara Conan. Let's have a look at this, Liam. Could have been more than a yellow here from one of the players.
Yeah, the 2 of them were slapping at each other, and obviously, you know, Shane O'Neill, you know, we'll watch it here, the 2 of them are giving digs, but Shane O'Neill comes up high with the hurley, and it's, you know, he catches him on the head. So, you know, within the rules, again, it's a margin, you know, Tycob would like, if you were following by the rules, you know, it probably could have been a red card.
We saw Pat Horgan sent off for something similar, and of course Henry Shefflin got not for a tap like that. But
earlier on this year there's been a few controversial sentence off for anything related to that, but just, you know, Shane, I suppose we've talked about him earlier on in the year, and he's a really good hurler, and when you kind of swing head high like that, you're taking a massive risk. I know lads will be jockeying for position and it's all part of it, and you know, it's one thing shouldering each other and pulling and dragging, but you have to be very, very careful. You rise the hurl that high.
In his defence, I don't think it was, you know, I think it was a wild.
I think the point we're making is in the current rules or the way they're being applied.
If it was a referee, early on in the season, the championship, he'd be gone. But this is a final, the same old thing happens every year. Now, no one wants anyone sent off, but he'd want to be careful because he's a brilliant hurler. But slapping back that way, early on in the season, there was lads sent off for a lot less. You know, like, but that's what happened. In the final, people don't like to get anyone sent off because it kind of ruins the game, really.
All right, look at it, still 15 against 15 anyway. Liam, Cork, as we can see, back out on the field. That man, obviously, well, that could be tension, just, you know, you can get a yawn from tension as well. So, Cork have 2 points to make up.
Yeah, they have 2 points to make up, but they have to find their form. I mean, they've been outplayed in that first half. They're lucky to be 2 points down. The question is, I mean, if I would rather be in the Clare dressing room right now. I think they've played the hurling, and if they push on and maintain the superiority they've had in that first half, they'll be All-Ireland champions come 5 o'clock. You know, Cork have got 35 minutes to rectify it, and we all know this Cork jersey, you know, they won't let it go without a fight, but they'll really need to find another gear up front if they're to be successful here. I mean, the fielding by some of the Clare players, David McInerney, you know, Conor Ryan has gone back in the back, just snapping ball out of the sky. They've been well on top. They'll need to change that in the second half to give themselves a chance of winning.
And in fairness, Tomas Mulcahy was making the point there himself that some of these Cork lads haven't quite performed yet. They haven't quite got into it.
No, and that's the unfortunate part of All-Ireland final day. I can certainly put my hand up with no great, pride. All-Ireland final day can often pass you by. It can be over before you know it. You can often try too hard, but Anthony Nash must be looking up the field saying, come on lads, give me something here, because as Liam said, they are plucking everything out of the sky, and Pat Cronin there for Cork seems to be getting a little bit of jostled and bumped and shoved before he starts his run for a puck out. But in general, Clare are well on top, and if they can just settle down a bit, cut down the frees have probably kept Cork in it. So if they keep their discipline.
All right, time to hand back to Michael Duigan and Ger Canning.
One change made at half-time by Cork, and that is Stephen Moylan has come into corner forward, and I think it's Jamie Cullen who's made way. No change made by Clare, who are looking for their first win over Cork in the championship since 1998. Second half gets underway, and Clare looking to try and build upon what they achieved in the opening half. Egan back here towards Lochal McLaughlin, robbed straight away. And then back comes Conor O'Sullivan to link up with his goalkeeper, and Nash drives it a good 60 metres down the field here. Well, Carney was trying to anticipate, didn't quite work out for him, but it comes to Conor Lehan, who's trying to up his performance from that first half. Inside towards Luke O'Farrell, broken up here. Pat O'Connor couldn't get it, but Tony Kelly can. Throws it ahead of himself almost, lost it anyway, and then knocked it down towards Patch Collins. Clare fans felt he was fouled, referee didn't agree. In it goes as far as Colm Galvin, and Galvin places it across here on the left hand side. Beautifully there for Tony Kelly, steadies himself and puts it over the bar. He knew from the minute he hit it, he was jumping for joy with that one, punching the air, and he's got the first point of the second half, 3 between them.
Yeah, that's great play between two young players. Colin Galvin, had a super first half in the middle of the field, lovely ball in, and Tony Kelly just out in the middle of the field. 2 seconds before that, he covered 30 or 40 yards, great run into space and a great score.
From that puck out, it's Clare who've got it again. John Conlon. I'm sure Davy Fitzgerald has told them you won the first half, but you should be further ahead at this point. Podge Collins goes in, he's challenged, and the referee sees the foul on the 21-year-old from Cratloe. He was caught there by Pa Cronin, and so it's going to be a free once again, which Colin Ryan will take. Impeccable with his frees in the opening 35 minutes. This to put 4 between them. 5 from 5 so far, 50 metres from the target. Perfect day for hurling at Croke Park, and the pitch in perfect condition. And that's a very, very good start to the second half for him. He's certainly having a day of days. 14 points to 10.
Yeah, and Jared, half-time, over all the years I played, both managers, or the manager would be stressing first 10 minutes of the second half, so important. And Clare 2 points up, now gone 4 up, and picked up where they started in the first half, dominating again.
Well, Cork have made one forward change. Let's see if it'll make any difference, because it's the usual service. Conor Ryan once again dominating, blocked down this time, helped out by Bogler. Slips it across inside towards Pat Donlan, and that went off Donlan, curses his luck. Line ball to Cork. Clare anticipating that Cork might try and take it quickly, just as Clare had been doing earlier on. And this line ball is eventually going to be hit in by Cork's centre half back Chris Joyce. Second championship season for the Napier-Shig player. So can he knock it into the square this time? All the way in. Coming across to collect it is Donald O'Donovan, pursued there by Stephen Moylan. And the Douglas man tries to hook him but doesn't quite get to it. Instead it's Daniel Carney trying to slip it back here to his clubmate at Sarsfield's Conor O'Sullivan. Back out towards MacDonald. Stephen MacDonald looking once again for Carney, but look at the way Clare are simply surrounding the Cork man and the ball. Pressure the whole time. It's almost waspish defending there by Clare. You fend off one and then another one comes along to make life uneasy for you. MacDonald here and Carney getting themselves into a bother. This time it comes back to O'Sullivan once again, frees himself and then strikes it a long distance down. But again there's strong play, and it's Conor Ryan. What a match he's playing, terrific so far. Colm Galvin took his eye off that one. Pat Horgan fumbled, and it enabled Pat Donlan to come forward once again and to strike, looking for another score, but this one has gone wide. Well, I think he got the feel for scores in the semi-final when he got a great point against Limerick, playing in his 22nd championship match today.
Yeah, Gerald, what a key factor you've identified there, the tackling of the Clare forwards. They're putting so much pressure on Cork, forcing them in to hit high balls out, and then they're dominating in the air in the half-back line. And really, the Cork team have not settled it out. Here's Conor Lehane on the ball now. It's the first time he's really got any space.
Hasn't scored so far, and Lehane gets away. O'Connor's after him, but Lehane has the chance, and he strikes a brilliant goal. It's his first ever championship goal, and it comes after 40 minutes. And now Cork will feel they're in with a renewed chance. They're within a point. It's Clare 14 points, Cork 1 goal and 10, and Conor Lehane, who's a real attacking threat, fires it into the corner, and now it could change the complexion of this All-Ireland final.
Yeah, well, that's a great goal. We know the ability he has. He never touched the ball, but Patrick Kelly's going to be disappointed. You can see there, tried to get the hurl up and couldn't get it across his body and into the back of the net, and that's the ability that Conor Lehane has, and that's really going to spark the game into life. And Clare won't believe how they're just a point up now at this stage, but Cork now in the mix.
It's only Cork's second championship goal of the season. Got one in the semi, of course, when Patrick Horgan got in against Dublin. That all-decisive late goal there. One between them. Line ball for Cork. William Egan's going to take it. Cuts it up well. Broken down by Harnedy, but trying to take control of it, gives it away to Galvin instead. And Colin Galvin linking up here with Conor McGrath, point scorer in the first half. Takes off to the left-hand side, pursued by Harnedy again. Once again it's McGrath, trying to get into a scoring opportunity. He ran and he ran and he ran with that one, and finally got a free. The foul was drawn from Conor O'Sullivan. Looked like he was almost going nowhere in the end. Right into a maze, it seemed. But then out came the hand, catching him, down he went. Discipline gives Clare a chance to stretch the lead out once again to 2 points.
Yeah, good change of direction there by Conor McGrath, but he carried the ball a long way, and maybe a fortunate enough free. I think Clare will be glad of it now, just to settle things down again after the Cork goal.
Certainly stung by the concession of that, and Colin Ryan's accuracy here is important. He's got a 7th point, all from frees, and so it's 15 points to 110. And Cork are about to make another change, and that's Cian McCarthy coming on, and the player who's going to make way is Lorcan McLaughlin. So Cian McCarthy, who hasn't seen any action in the championship since the Munster final, disappointed Lorcan McLaughlin. From this puck out, it's down towards McCarthy, going in there on the 40, try and unsettle Pat Donlan, and gets a first possession here, looking to try and lay it off. He's drawn a foul from Bugler, and that might be as good as a point for Cork, because Clare protested, and the ball is going to be brought forward 13 metres, which is more or less onto the 45-metre line, and very, very much within Pat Horgan's range. Already beginning to assert himself there. Cian McCarthy, wonderful in the air, very strong performer. And Horgan fires it up and puts it over.
Yeah, Cian McCarthy, I think a very forceful player. Sometimes the use of possession doesn't be great, but he won that ball well. And interestingly, Pat Cronin has gone to the middle of the field. I thought Brendan Bugler was going to follow him, but he's gone in centre back now on Cian McCarthy with Pat Donlan in the middle of the field.
So they're mixing and matching Clare the whole time, adapting to each challenge, each new situation that Cork present. And from that puck out, it's Clare who have to go back into their own half-back line, in particular Tony Kelly, to get on the ball here, surrounded by Cork players. And now Cork are squeezing the space on Clare, such as Clare were doing earlier on here. Cian Dillon tries to get it out, Moylan tries to get possession, in there is Luke O'Farrell as well, and emerging with it once again is Conor Ryan, a star of this match so far, giving everything. It's only his 3rd championship match, when he made his debut against Galway in the quarter-final. Out as far as Podge Collins, change of direction, and then goes forward, impishly carrying it this way and that, like an egg and spoon race, finally hitting it beautifully onto the netting and over the bar. How about that? Well, that's the beautiful game.
That's an incredible score. Podge Collins, he looked covered by 2 men, turned back inside and off the hurl, and that's as good a score as you'll ever see in Croke Park. Fantastic ball, straight over the black spot.
And he's made it 16 points to 111. What's the Cork response now? Early stages in the second half, 9 minutes in. Bugler tries to get it away here. Cian McCarthy loses it, and Colin Galvin comes in, strong as ever. A kind of Charles Fitzpatrick type player in the middle of the field there for Clare, excelling, dominating, able to link up defence with attack. Wonderful player.
He has a great engine, they're fantastic. For such a young player, you know, his power and his strength is unbelievable. His use of the ball, top class, he'll be able to take a score, and really he's been fantastic all year. And a great response by Clare. You know, Cork are hanging in there, as Cork do, they're not going away, and you know, we're going to have a very exciting last 25 minutes or so.
So once again, it's Colin Ryan, 7 points so far. This from where they throw in the ball at the start of the halves, and this one has drifted away. The one that didn't quite work out for him. So a 2-point game still, as you were at half-time. But Cork greatly helped by the goal from Conor Lehane after 40 minutes. And that's probably what he was fearing and what he was hoping. This time it's broken down here. And the race for possession is won by Daniel Carney. And Carney knocks it over. Great play by the midfielder, a point in each half. Well, he's become a stronger, more durable player this year, and he's added a little bit of finishing power as well. Can be a real powerhouse performer in midfield. They need a big finish to this match from Daniel Carney. It's a 1-point game, 16 points to 112.
Yeah, great score, and probably the two midfielders of the year to me, Carney and Galvin. They're, you know, really both of them playing very well, and great battle between the two of them for the rest of the game.
Egan snuffed out the danger there. Joyce almost spooning it backwards there and playing Shane O'Neill into some difficulty. Here's Stephen McDonnell, cleared under pressure, back down beyond Pat O'Connor with a great first half. Bugler now here, strong, determined player, an all-star last year, gets away from the goal scorer Conor Lehane, links up there with Conor McGrath, and what a little flick that was by Conor O'Sullivan, I think, to just get it away out of danger. Tremendous corner-back play here by the 24-year-old. Just look at this again as McGrath advanced, in went the stick, wonderful finesse. Colin Ryan into the path here of Podge Collins, again takes off past McDonnell, who caught him free in. Cork are going to be punished if Clare start to run at them and draw the fouls now during the second half, because in Colin Ryan they certainly have a free taker really in form.
Yeah, and interesting, Gerard, that Conor O'Sullivan was picking up Podge Collins in the first half, and Collins got a couple of scores, and Stephen McDonnell has picked him up since half time. And you know, Podge has scored 3 points from play. He's been fouled for another, you know, I haven't got stats in front of me, but I'd say another 2 or 3 frees at least, and he's having a huge bearing on this game.
So McDonnell gets a yellow card, and Colin Ryan tries to get another point. That's the angle confronting him here. Will it come in? Not quite. Unlike Pythagoras, he hasn't quite got the angles right on this one. And it stays at 16 points to 112.
Yeah,
a 1-point game.
Sure, we saw this with Paul Ryan in the semi-final. He missed 3 frees, and Anthony Nash scored a few. You know, you can't afford it at this level, and Colin Ryan normally so dependable, but that's 2 now he's missed.
Well, he'll be hoping that that doesn't create uncertainty in his mind as Brendan Bugler once again lobs it forward here towards Dara Conan. Haven't seen him really get on the ball often enough. Had a goal chance, got a point. Now he's in the thick of it. The big tall man. Oh, that's good vision inside. Beautiful ball in as far as Colin Ryan. Blocked well. Conor O'Sullivan's off for it second time. Great defending by the number 4 of Cork, Conor O'Sullivan. Could have been a goal chance there for Clare. Might come yet. Pat Donlan now. Donlan 30 metres out. Plays it beautifully outside towards McGrath. There's work to do here, and he takes a point. Beautiful score by Conor McGrath. That's good, mature play by Clare. Great vision as well. Donlan was setting up. He was the architect of this, but the finisher was Conor McGrath. 17 points to 112. What about this for a block?
Great block by Conor O'Sullivan, but really, Derek Conan could have tapped it over. It was good vision inside. And you see Hook there as well, and that was Seamus Harnedy, but at the end a good score there by in
the end it was McGrath. Free to Clare, which is going to be for Brendan Bugler being fouled there. We're 50 minutes into this match now, 20 to go, so it's up to these players now to show what they can do, to demonstrate their skills on the biggest day of all in the hurling calendar. There's a title here for Clare or for Cork, and it's advantage Clare at this stage by just 2 points. That goal was a major score for Cork. It really has kept them in it in this second half.
It has, Jared. Clare half-back line dominating the game, and surprising that Cork haven't any options to bring anyone in there that can win some ball.
This time it's lobbed in dangerously. Down went McGrath. Waiting for it here is Christopher Joyce, and under pressure he gets it away, but it'll be a line ball to Clare. Incessant pressure now on the Cork backs being exerted. Tony Kelly's ready to take this. There's got to be another change, and the next man in will be number 23, Cathal Naughton, and the player going off is Stephen Moylan, who didn't really get an opportunity to shine in this. But the Cork selectors ready to make changes, not standing on ceremony. Well, in fact, it's
Keane McCarthy got hurt, I think, Gerald. Yeah, he was down injured there a few minutes ago.
So this is John Conlon making a better angle for himself, and a really good score by Conlon. When he's in form, he's worth seeing. His season blighted with injury. A player who only lasted 19 minutes against Cork in the Munster Championship. He's lasting this one, and it's 18 points to 112. So just to clear that up, it's Cathal Naughton who has replaced Cian McCarthy. And Stephen Moylan up there at quarter forward, but he hasn't really got a chance to get into the action. The service has been non-existent, really. They just can't get through that half-back line. It's impenetrable, and hurleys go flying, and the referee saw a chop there, and it's going to be a free to Clare. Yeah. They are dominating this match.
They are, Jared. They've taken over again. Cork got the goal, and you think they were going to come back into it, but Clare just took over again, and they're playing fantastic hurling in the second half. If you look at the forward line, John Conlon and Tony Kelly scored 2 points and 3 points respectively. The full forward line have scored 6 points from play, and all the Cork have got is a point from Seamus Harnedy, a goal from Conor Lahan, and 1 point from play from Patrick Horgan. That's a goal in 2 points in 50 minutes in an All-Ireland final, and that's not going to be good enough. They really have to pick up.
Well, they're ahead by 3, Clare. He's missed the last 2 frees. This is another very ambitious one. It's a huge distance out, but he lobs it beautifully and carefully over that crossbar, and he's back on song again. 8 points for Colin Ryan. It's a massive contribution. He was calm, and this time he showed his consistency and his care. 19 points to 112.
Yeah, and great character, Ger, after missing the previous 2, and that's a long range one, a very important score again.
This is beautifully caught by Seamus Harnedy. First one I think he's caught, and he puts it over the bar. Great plucky play here by Seamus Harnedy, the 22-year-old, getting his 2nd point. Well, his mother Cathy was an All-Ireland winning camogie captain 30 years ago here at Croke Park, and here he caught this one brilliantly, took off, had only a point on his mind, and made it.
Fantastic score, Ger, and he did that against Kilkenny in the first 20 minutes on Kieran Joyce, who had a fantastic year for Kilkenny, but Harnedy is good in the air, and good to see someone competing in that half order. That's the first clean catch I think they've got there.
We're into the last quarter of this match. That's batted back out here, but collected once again, and this time Colin Ryan waits and sees the white flag. He's got a 9th. He's capable of amassing huge tallies. I remember one night down in Porky Ring when they met in the league in March. I think he got 12 that night. He's capable of a fantastic score in this final.
He is, Ger. That's all 6 forwards now have scored from play. The half forward line have scored 6 points from play, and the full forward line scored 6 points from play. As I say, against 1-3 on the other end, so they've scored double the amount that Cork have so far from play.
By comparison, Cork have only had 3 forwards who've scored from play in this match, and that tells its own story. But then the dominance, the matchups that Ger Loughnane was talking about at one stage during half-time, they've all been terribly, terribly important, and so far Davy Fitzgerald has got it absolutely right. Cork still have a chance, they still have time, but they've got to get motoring. Patrick Horgan now, 8 points from frees so far, 4 points the margin, and he's put this one to the right, and it's just not working out for Cork.
Well, they're living off scraps, Jerome. When you are living off scraps, you have to take every chance, and that's a big miss now from Pat Horgan. It would have brought it back to 3, and 4 points gives Clare a bit of a cushion.
Well, what can he do? One of the great heroes of Cork sport, Jimmy Barry Murphy. He's done really, really well to get his team to the Ireland final. Now can they win it? Clare come again. They look like they hold the aces. They've got 4 points of an advantage. Conor McGrath darting forward, stopped by Conor O'Sullivan, who's been under enormous pressure down on this side. This time he reached out, caught his man. He's going to get a yellow card for that, I think.
Yeah, but it's very obvious part of the tactics of Clare. When they get possession, unless the shot is on, they take on their man every time, and they're fantastic at it. You know, they're changing direction and they head for the goals, and it's caused an awful lot of frees here. You can see Colin Ryan, you know, he scored 8, he's missed a couple, so they are forcing the fouls from the Cork defenders.
It tells its own story, Michael, as well, that everybody in the Cork full back line, MacDonald, O'Neill and O'Sullivan, all on yellow cards. And of course they could have lost Shane O'Neill in the first half, but he got a yellow card and got lucky. Colin Ryan hitting this, splits the posts, it's 10 points for him. He's having a magnificent day out, as are Clare at Croke Park. And the young fans and the not so young, he sees himself up there, hoping that this will be the day he'll remember when Clare won their 4th ever title. Anthony Nash pucking it out. What's the Cork response? Cathal Naughton, something of a forgotten man in Cork hurling, sparingly used. Back to William Egan, lobbing it in here towards Moylan, trying to break it down. It comes down towards Luke O'Farrell, and he is fairly well flattened, free in from 20 metres out, and they'll bring up the goalkeeper. They need a goal chance. They need to have their chances here rescued by a goal from Nash. As he was running down that time, as sometimes happen with goalkeepers nowadays, he was, shall we say, impeded. But he's got to make it.
He'll make it down in one piece. Again, crucial. Gerard, just on the first half one, you see John Conlon now having a word with him, and Conor Lehane drew out the boot there as well.
This is the latest fashion, of course, as goalkeepers come down, and it gets as tense as this.
I'm actually surprised there's not more of it, including in the football.
There is a certain amount of it.
There is a certain amount, but this is getting a little bit messy now.
Yeah, far too tense. They're getting far too excitable. And Brian Gavin looks like the calmest man around. Second All-Ireland final for him, of course. He was here 2 years ago, the 2011 final. Got a belt in the nose that day. Now, Anthony Nash about to take this. And I wonder will the referee be looking at the goalkeeper's positioning?
Yeah, I was going to say that, Jared. Patrick Kelly came out an awful long way in the first one, and Anthony Nash threw it in nearly to the 14-yard line, which he's entitled to do.
This time the referee's going here.
He's going to have a word, John.
And it's worth looking as well that the D isn't encroached. So Nash, 57 minutes into the game, Cork need a goal. He's got it! Second ever championship goal for Anthony Nash. And now it's a 2-point game. 2-13 for Cork. Clare still leading with their 21 points.
That's what you call a rocket, Jared. Absolutely buried it. The first one he threw it away a little bit too hard, but look at that into the roof of the net. A fantastic score. There's still a bit of stuff going on off the ball here now.
There certainly is doing their impression of puck goats, but the referee has flashed a yellow card to Cathal Naughton. Well, the King Puck Festival is over for 1 year, and he's probably just happy to be in there.
And an amazing game, Gerard. An amazing game. Cork have just clung on and clung on and clung on, and they're back to 2 points again. And Clare, you know, seem to be doing all the hurling, and Cork are still in this game.
Missed by Brian Murphy, recovered by Daniel Carney, slipped back as far as Conor O'Sullivan. Caught this time by Galvin, but manages. Well, I thought he was caught by the hand that time, but the linesman on the far side anyway signals that it's going to be a line ball. So Clare's possession, chance to put further pressure now on that somewhat beleaguered Cork defence. That was some strike. Goes short again. This time anticipated by Cork, but then Podge Collins is able to get away. He's elusive, well hooked by Stephen MacDonald, playing well, and the referee blows his whistle and gives a free out to Cork at the end of all of that. 12 minutes are remaining in the 2013 final. It's a 2-point game. Clare ahead.
I wouldn't be surprised with Anthony Nash. He could get the distance. I know it's an awful long way out from his own 45, but he has a massive strike of the ball.
He got 2 points against Clare from distance in the Munster semi-final. This is going to drop short. 2 against 2 in there, broken down, and in comes Hornady, and Hornady goes down, and it's a penalty. Knew exactly what he had to do, caught it, that loose ball, drove at the defenders, and now the referee is calling across one of the backs. It's got to be Cian Dillon. And Dillon is the one who gets the yellow card for this, even though it looked like it was MacDonald from the replay who caught him, but that's the man who got the card. So the goalkeeper's up again, Anthony Nash. He's already the top scoring goalkeeper in an All-Ireland hurling final. Prior to that, in living memory, the only man who had done it was Brendan Cummins 2 years ago against Kilkenny. So while David Fitzgerald and Louis Mulqueen mull over this, Anthony Nash gets about his business, looking for the second goal, and it's stopped. And they've saved it. And Paul Kelly has done brilliantly well and gets the congratulations of Pat O'Connor and the rest of the backs. And Clare remain in front by 2 points with just over 10 minutes to go. He came out, got the stick to it, was a little uncertain as to where it was going to go to after that. Well, in fact, it was on the line. It was saved on the line. Not sure Kelly actually got the first touch at all, but it was stopped there. I think it might be Donal O'Donovan. Missed by Cork, rescued by Clare.
Great save on the line, up and hit the crossbar, and you know, all of a sudden this game has really sparked into life. That is an absolutely brilliant save.
It's anybody's match. Colin McGrath now feeling they should be out of sight at this stage, but you rarely see that in an All-Ireland hurling final. Dara Conan challenging. William Egan put under pressure. Back goes Podge Collins to try and get it. Hand in the back, down he went. Free in. Chance to stretch the lead to 3 points in a thrilling second half here at Croke Park. And once again it will be Colin Ryan who will take it. And Clare are just about to make their first substitution. We'll be seeing that in a moment. And they will be bringing on Cathal McInerney. There he is, number 23. Before all of that, Colin Ryan's ready to put this over the bar. An easy enough one for him. No difficulty. 11 points, his wonderful tally in this final. And so it's now 22 points to 213, or 22 points to 90. So on comes Cathal McInerney. And off goes Dara Conan. Scored a point early on, got a goal chance which was well stopped by Ash. Apart from that, he will be a little unhappy, but his side are still leading. That's a brilliant piece of catching there by Conor Ryan. He's had a superb match. Can he finish it off with a point here? What about that wonderful score? Oh, it's his first ever in the championship. Well, he has developed brilliantly, and the UL student only given his debut at the quarter-final stage. Look at that for fetching. Caught it superbly and then drove it from 45 metres out, maybe even more.
Yeah, that's an incredible score, definitely the best score of the match, and he's had a fantastic game at centre-back, wing-back, wherever he's been needed. He's been brilliant.
We've seen some wonderful points. Colm Galvin here now, very near the sideline, denied space. Once again picked up here by Conor Lehane. They need a score from Lehane. Can he supply it? He can. A goal and a point now for Conor Lehane, both of them coming in the second half. And Cork keep on chipping away. They're 3 points behind. There are 8 minutes remaining. And this was Lehane's second score of the day.
Yeah, he's very dangerous in possession, but their problem has been getting possession. And you know, we've kept saying it, but there's still 20 points on the board. They're within 3 points, and it's anybody's game yet.
Paul Kelly, an important one to win here now, and it's Clare who win it, and it's Conor McGrath feeding it outside there to the new man Cathal McInerney. Got 2 goals and a point against Wexford. This time he drops short, comes off the post. That was missed by Podge Collins. MacDonald got it away, out as far as Daniel Carney, and Cork got away with it. A Clare goal there, you would feel, coming at this stage would have finished the match, but instead it is Moylan. Stephen Moylan, his first chance, back in here, as far as Park Cronin. A goal! Park Cronin, only chance he's had so far in this game, and the teams are level with 64 minutes gone. It's an amazing second half. It looked like Clare, but Cork have a never-say-die approach. They got lucky there. Missed by Podge Collins. Should have been a goal at one end. He curses his luck, but what happened at the other end? Down went Cork, and Cronin scored.
Well, Ger, really, when the ball hit the post, Podge Collins followed in brilliantly, but he missed the ball, it was cleared. And that's a brilliant finish by Park Cronin. He was so cool. He used all his experience, looked for the space, took his few steps, up in the roof of the net. A brilliant goal by Park Cronin. And amazingly, a draw match now with 6 minutes to go.
Fergal Lynch has come on for Clare in place of John Conlon. And other changes they want to make down on the sideline, but the referee says play away. They level. Beautiful ball back here, taken up by Tony Kelly. An amazing match at Croke Park once again. It was thrilling last Sunday in the football, thrilling here as well in the hurling decider, and it's got to be a free in and another chance for Colin Ryan to write his name all over this particular final. Davy Fitzgerald trying to remain calm. I'm sure that's very difficult right now with only 5.5 minutes really to go. Colin Ryan to get point number 12 maybe.
Yeah, and Tom Kenny in as well, I see. But you know, Clare 23 points and Cork just chipping away, and 3 goals. They've had a 21-yard free save, the penalty saved as well.
Colin Ryan looking for his 12th. He's got it. It's Clare once again, ahead by a point in an amazing match, and now 5 minutes to go. And this was Moylan. His dad was a star in the past for Cork. Pa Cronin, the captain, is a star here, and he gave Cork renewed hope and life. It went past everybody through the fingers of Bogler. Now Cork come back, and it's Conor Lehan. Big one in here towards Moylan again. Now he's winning possession. Now he's showing what he can do. Helped out here by Cathal Naughton, but the referee had blown his whistle. Naughton had hit it into the side netting anyway. It's going to be a free in, and it's a chance to tie up the match. We've got 4 minutes to go and a little over maybe because of the injury time.
Yeah, and Jerry, you'd have to say Cork are thinking goals now all the time. You know, they're getting great confidence in there. They've caused an awful lot of trouble inside there when they've got possession. Scored the 3 goals. They say could have maybe had another couple, and they should level it up again now.
He's got 8 so far, and Patrick Horgan, the Glen Rovers star, makes absolutely sure of it. 9 points, level for the 3rd time. 1 on to replay. We said it last year. It happened. 4 minutes to go now, and Cork making another change. And Cork's number 20 is Stephen White, and he's come on for Daniel Carney. That's their 5th and final sub, so they've tried their full hand. Clare have put on 2 of their possible subs. I think they've now got a 3rd one on as well. This is Conor McGrath looking up, sensing a winning point maybe, but it's gone well away to the right hand side, and it's a missed opportunity. 24 points apiece, 24 points to 3-15. Nicky O'Connell is one of those to join the fray in the last few minutes. Anthony Nash pucking it out. The crowd just getting behind both teams, raising the volume. And once again it is Clare who look magnificent at half back line. Bogler there, superb. Ryan has been superb all through the match. That's Conor Ryan. What about this as he got in there against Seamus Harnedy and came out with possession? Wasn't going to be denied. Young man who I believe is now teaching in Kilkenny, and they'll have lots to talk about over the winter, I'm sure, in that hurling mad county. And he looks like he's in trouble with that injury, and Davy Fitzgerald just making sure that every possible gap in the system is filled immediately.
Yeah, it looks like a dead leg, and you're just amazed with Cork maybe persevering with the long puck out. You know, Donlow Cusack will be on tonight, he'll have a view in it. I'm sure he's in the studio watching the match, or he's here. But you know, they never went short with any, and they kept pucking it down that half back line who dominated possession. And it's really amazing that Cork are still in this game with the amount of ball that Clare have won in their half back line, but they have kept plugging away. They've showed great heart, great determination, and now 2 minutes to go. Can go either way.
Will he go try it? Will he go for a point this time?
Well, he's gone back to take it, so he must feel he has the distance.
The last one he lobbed in, but this time
short.
He's going to drop it short. It's time for somebody to stand up and become the hero. Tony Kelly might be that player. Now he's put it wide, and we're inside the last 2 minutes of the 70. Clare will feel that on balance they have been much the better team and should win this final, but sheer dogged determination by Cork, and plenty of quality as well within their ranks has kept them going, and those 3 goals have been so important. The next man who will be coming in very shortly will be Shane Amori. So possession now vital here. Nicky O'Connell managed to get it away. Clare's second half sub, putting the on Stephen McDonald, drops it down, and it's taken by Shane O'Neill. Nobody wants to give away the ball loosely here this time. It's important just to retain the possession. That time it was Stephen White who held on. Line ball for Clare, however, and the pressure back on. 69 minutes gone in the final. Clare 24 points, Cork 3-15. So who's going to win it now? Well, you're usually pretty good at reading the tea leaves. How do you see it?
Well, I think Stephen White was very unlucky not to get a free there. He won possession, he was shoved in the back, he didn't get it. I think Brian Gavin will be very happy to blow it up if it gets to 70 minutes for a draw match.
This should be cut out. Chris Joyce coming across here. McInerney's after him, McGrath's after him, and finally they catch up with him. Again they dig in here, just trying to get that vital possession. Close to the end of the 70 minutes. Back out it comes. Look where Conor McGrath has gone back to about left corner back. Up here towards Podge Collins. If there's to be another score here now, it'll probably be the winning of the All-Ireland final. Podge Collins hops it on the ground, gets it back again, loses it to Cathal Naughton. Naughton goes way back, tries to fend off Tony Kelly and sends it out over the sideline off the Clare stick. It's got to be a line ball, and there are going to be 2 minutes of added time now, and we're into that, as you can see already, with the match tied, tantalisingly so.
Yeah, well, Jerry, if Clare hang on for a draw or win it, Conor McGrath, he made some ground. He travelled back 70 yards there, and Christopher Joyce took the ball off, and he saw Cathal Naughton doing the very same thing there on Podge Collins. Some great effort into the 70th minute in All-Ireland final. Great tackling.
Oh, it's wonderful stuff, absolutely magnificent stuff by both these teams. Chris Joyce cut in, onto it, here comes Horgan. Can he be the match winner? Will this be the winner of the All-Ireland? It's over the bar! Patrick Horgan gets a 10th. 1 minute of stoppage time still to go, and Cork go in front here by 3-16 to 24 points. It would be very cruel on Clare, but then this is a day for winners. Who's going to do it? Advantage Cork. Back out it comes again to Cathal Naughton. Cathal Naughton taking off. We know he's got pace. Pat Donlan is after him and flicks it away. There's a support player there for it, and that ball is hit in there by Stephen Moylan, and finally won back by Park Kelly. 30 seconds or thereabouts to go. He's been hounded across over there by Luke O'Farrell, out over the far sideline. Line ball coming up. A line ball to Cork, and the Cork fans all around Croke Park are on their feet at this stage. What a winner that would be by Pat Horgan, one of the stars of the day, on a day when Clare have certainly been the better team, but Jimmy Barry's Murphy's side look like they're about to snatch the victory. Stephen Moylan ready to hit this.
And he needs it to go dead when the game is over.
Hits it in and hits it wide. Almost there. Jimmy Barry Murphy looks like he's done it. It looks like he's brought a Cork team from nowhere to win the championship. A few seconds remaining. Clare won one more chance. That's Pat O'Connor. Inside it comes here. Nicky O'Connell now, trying to fend off challenges. Back out it comes once again to Donald O'Donovan. They would deserve a draw. They get a draw! Donald O'Donovan puts it over the bar. And Davy Fitzgerald and Clare, I think, will be back here. The referee has allowed the quick puck out to be taken. It's still in play, no longer. It's all over, and it's ended in a magnificent draw at Croke Park. For the second year in a row, the teams in the final have to come back and do it all again. We won't complain. Jimmy Barry Murphy must have felt he had the game won 60 seconds ago. Davy Fitzgerald must have feared the worst. But how about that?
Well, Gerard,
heroes everywhere.
I have to say, there's a little bit of booing from the Cork crowd because it was maybe 30 seconds in over the 2 minutes, but that's at the referee's discretion. But what a score to draw an All-Ireland final from a corner back. What was he doing up there?
Who's never scored before.
He's never scored before in the championship. He had an outstanding game at corner back for a lot of the game. How he was up in that position, I'll never know, but that was a brilliant score off his left-hand side. And you'd have to say on the balance of play that Clare would deserve a draw in this game. A fantastic second half. The first half was a little bit, nervous, and players were, I don't know, the whole occasion, as we talked, might get there. But the second half, we had absolutely everything. A phenomenal second half. We had goals, we had fantastic scores. What did Clare end up with? 25 points in an All-Ireland final, and not to win it, 25 scores from play. But Cork stuck at it, they didn't give in, and we'll be back here, I don't know, September for a second edition. I can't wait.
It's amazing, isn't it? I mean, the last draw was last year, and before that it was 1959. It's like the buses, two come along at once.
Yeah, well, Liam Shealy said to me, we were coming over in a taxi this morning, he said 14-1 with Paddy Powers for the draw. So look, that was maybe the bet to have a little few quid on that. A great game, and well done to both sides.
And this is how it's finished. The full-time score: Clare 25 points, Cork 3 goals and 16. Let's go down to Clare.
Jimmy, can you quite believe that finish? Did you think you had won it?
Yeah, I thought we might have nicked it in the end. Probably wouldn't have deserved maybe on the day. Clare were outstanding, I thought, and we struggled a lot to the game, but the lads showed great spirit, fantastic character to come back, and draw was a fair result, I think.
It was a game you were chasing right from the off.
Yeah, we didn't play well today in the first half in particular. I thought Clare were very, very good, and they always had a step or two ahead of us, but our lads showed great character as well, and as I said already, I think a draw was a fair result.
And of course 3 goals keeping you there.
Yeah, we needed the goals badly, and you know, we haven't got many goals all year, but certainly we needed them today.
I suppose it's often an anticlimax when there's a draw. How are you feeling now?
Well, it's an anticlimax for everybody, but that's the way it goes. We're lucky to be there to fight again next day.
You think it's a fair result?
I think it was a very fair result.
Okay, thanks, Jimmy.
Thanks.
I think 27 or 28 seconds.
Thanks indeed to Michael Dignan and to Ger Canning. And lads, you can take a well-earned break after that, because that was hectic to say the very least of it. Enjoying that here with me in our studio, of course, Cyril, Liam and Eddie. Lads, I know you've hardly had time to gather your thoughts just yet. A draw, I suppose, the fairest result.
The Shannon will be swelled up this evening. Donovan nearly lives on top of it. Cornerback Donovan hardly ever scored in his life. Maybe an own goal for Clare or for Clonlara now and again. But there he goes up, gets a point. Listen, fantastic game of hurling. Brilliant goals, brilliant points. Cork's in the game, but like as the boys were saying here, blown up. A draw was a fair result. You'd hate to see anyone losing. Now Cork's in the game with 3 goals, brilliant shots, nothing you could do about them. Clare proved themselves that they're a good team with all them scores and points, and I think it's great to be coming back again whenever in a few weeks' time.
And Liam Sheedy, the remarkable thing about it is we hadn't a draw since Adam was a small boy last year. We got a draw and another one again this year.
No, and I said it before the match, there was always a chance of a draw. I mean, it was going to be nip and tuck, but I mean Cork, the sideline ball, I'm not sure why they went for it. I mean, with the time up on the clock, I would have knocked that ball into the corner and tussled for it. But look, that's all history now. I mean, look, in fairness, Clare were the team that done most of the hurling today. To be fair to them, I think they imposed themselves on Cork. They had the better. They were in control, and goals kept. To be honest with you, goals were keeping Cork in the game more so than giving them the impetus to go on. And like the first time they took the lead was in the 70th minute. They didn't lead all day, and they just said, it would have been heartbreak for Clare. But I think no one will be disappointed going out of the stadium today. A draw was a fair result. We've seen a fantastic All-Ireland final in 2013.
It would have been heartbreak for Clare, Eddie Brennan, but having said that, you must give Cork the greatest of credit for fighting the way they did in that match.
Absolutely, Michael. It was an unbelievable... we heard Davey talking about it. I heard about Today FM there during the week about this heart monitor. I tell you, we could have done with a few of them here because it was that exciting, and as Liam said, they're coming in. We're not part of the game. It's not part of our counties. But what a game! It was just to the very end. And Patrick Horgan. I mean, what a points at the day to put their team up. And Donald O'Donovan out of nowhere. But I suppose look, it would have been heartbreaking to see either team go away, particularly Clare. I thought Clare done the most. But Cork were just hanging on to their coattails all day long. And I think the one thing that's probably going to create a little stir is there was 2 minutes put up, and
I'll go away with that, for God's sake. Well, we need the replay, for God's sake. Cork got 3 goals, for God's sake.
I know. That's grand, sir, when you're leaning for Clare. But to be fair, I think either side, without a doubt, it would have been heartbreaking to see either beaten. There has to be a winner, there has to be a loser, unfortunately. And I just think that Cork will probably say, why wasn't it blown? It was the 20...
72-03 on it.
But then I suppose, Eddie, to pick up on what Liam said, they had an opportunity to just poke the ball into the corner and start
we said it here, we said, look, put it into the corner like the soccer boys do.
He gave the goalkeeper a chance to put it out.
Score that had killed any team, for God's sake. A ball came in here, Nash took it down, Podge Collins came running through, he thought he was playing soccer, went to kick it, didn't clip it in. A great save, down the far into the far end of the field, back of the net. That would kill a lot of teams. I was saying to Liam, I said, if Clare come in this, there's some team, because they're getting hit with killer blows. Cork are hanging in, getting great goals. Just going into the 70 minutes, they go in front and say, well, here Cork again, tradition again, the Rebels, here we go. I think it's great to have a replay, and I can't wait for it to come.
To some character.
Yeah, and I think Jimmy Barry Murphy deserves a fair amount of credit, because I know as a manager, like Conor Lehan and Pat Cronin, they had very limpish first halves by their standards, and he stuck with him. He obviously seen what they can do in training, and like Conor Lehan came in and got a goal to bring them back into it. But Pat Cronin's goal was absolutely top drawer, top corner, and like he'd never really found his rhythm. But Jimmy stuck with him, gave him his chance, and he took his chance to the finish. But it was just pulsating game all through.
And the bottom line is, Eddie, and we talked about this before the match, Cork 1 goal in the championship up to today, 3 in 35 minutes.
Yeah, and probably Anthony Nash will miss 2 as well, so he probably feel they could have had another, but them goals ultimately kept Cork in this match because their forwards, from their own puckouts, it make a very interesting stat. I don't think they won. Seamus Harmony caught one in the second half and got a master point off it. He was not the only one that was plucking ball out of the sky.
What is interesting though is the thing is this: usually the goals win matches. Cork got 3 goals and didn't win the match. Now I know they're chasing it, but the last one, like, they put them in the driving seat and they still didn't win. So like, if Clare could have knocked in a goal or 2, you know,
the timing of it was perfect. Ideally, I'd say, look, it was a great time to come and finish off a match. But to be fair to Clare, to stay coming back, not to once hang their heads, you know, and even after the second goal, they were still in front, and even Colin Ryan missed probably 2 at a stage of the match. They may have been the difference, and look, them are the thin lines, them are the little inches that you'd be always saying you're scraping for. But all in all, mighty game of hurling.
We will, by the way, confirm when the replay will be as soon as we get official confirmation of that. And the one little complication, this actually happened, of course, last year as well, is that the normal date will be the week after the football final. That is the date of the ladies' football final, so there'll have to be a little bit of a discussion.
Yeah, and I think last year the same thing happened. I think that is it's provisionally booked. Well, the football final is on, but if any happens to the hurling final, they have to kind of give way, you know. But I think Michael, after the game, I thought Jim Barry Murphy kind of hit on the nail on the head. It'd be very hard. He'd love to have won, of course, but like he's a great manager and he's a great sportsman. He did realise that if Cork won it, they might have stolen All Ireland. That's it, you know, they play great stuff. Whereas Clare did all the hurling, and if they were beaten, like, you know, to be a great one to win. But like, I look at the next 3 or 4 weeks can't come fast enough because we're going to have another thriller.
I'd say, if you were a Cork man, you'd be happy enough to nick it out of a shop if you could get it.
Well, I'd say the better men, they'd be happy if they'd leave McCarthy go back down Lee's side tonight, you know, but they will know they didn't play well. And, you know, like everyone would say that they would have won it without really playing to the standard that I think we'd come to expect. They were outplayed in many sectors. Their forward line were non-existent. I mean, Conor Ryan at centre back for Clare was just colossal all day.
Today, like,
snapping ball out of the sky, and came up and put them 4 points up with him, a mammoth point in that second half. And you just felt all the momentum was with Clare, but goals, they just kept dragging themselves back into the game. And as I said, full credit. I mean, you know, we've seen, you know, professional guys on Friday night trying to kick a ball around the Aviva. Look what we've seen out here today from amateurs. I think they deserve huge credit.
Friday night are getting pages. He didn't want to score.
They deserve huge credit. Huge credit.
Well, I'll tell you something. Weeks, people just couldn't make their minds up who's going to win this All-Ireland, and you know what? They still can't. All right, we're going to have more analysis and reaction after our next break here on the programme. Now, before that, it is competition time for you. At least you can be a winner today. There's a week's holiday in the Maldives up for grabs. I thought you might like that. Here's how you can enter.
We've teamed up with Etihad Airways, proud sponsors of the Hurling Senior Championship, to give you the chance to win a week-long getaway for you and a friend to the tropical islands of the Maldives. You'll be treated to a 7-night stay in the 5-star Shangri-La Resort and Spa with lots to enjoy, including water sports, fine dining and lots more. Plus there's €1,000 spending money. For your chance to win, answer this question. In which year did Clare last win the Lee McCarthy Cup? Was it 2007, 1997 or 1987? To enter, call 15 16 71 71 74 or text the word hurling followed by your answer and name to 57001. Viewers in the north can also text 57001 or call the number on screen. You must be over 18 to enter. Lines will close at midday on Friday, September 20th. More details on RTE Airtel page 194, where the lucky winner will also be announced.
A brand new series.
The whole point in entering a competition is to win it.
I'm not afraid to make tough decisions.
We are here to compete, we're here to win. I won't tolerate excuses. I am the boss. This is where it's heating up now, noisy.
The search for Ireland's fittest family begins Sunday, September 22nd on RTE1.
1, 2, 3. Safe cross. 4, 5, 6. Safe cross. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Safe cross. Go. walking straight across you. Keep watching, that's the safe cross code. Safe place, wait, safe place, stop and wait. Safe ground, look around, listen for a traffic sound. If traffic's coming, let it pass until the road is clear at last. Then walking straight across the road. Keep watching, that's the code.
50% off superheroes, 50% off gymnasts, and 50% off Vikings. Get 50% off kids' health insurance from tots to teens with Leah Healthcare's Family Care Scheme. Call us on 1890 700 890 or visit leahhealthcare.ie. Leah Healthcare, looking after you always.
Here at Energia, we've been committed to supplying energy to Irish business for over 10 years. Committed to providing expert advice and better value, and committed to generating energy sustainably. That's why more than 65,000 Irish businesses choose Energia. Energia. Energy that means business.
You said the world is not enough, so I gave you the stars in the ocean's deep.
Choose to enjoy the great outdoors in Lidl's exclusive range of outdoor adventure clothing. Built for active families and designed to endure even the most rugged peaks. Available in store Thursday the 12th of September. Choose to go trekking. Choose Lidl.
Are you ready for more? Then get ready for the best value bundle from Aircom ever. Get home phone, super fast broadband including eFibre, and for the first time, free eMobile for 6 months with a free smartphone. All yours for just €45 a month. The best value Aircom bundle with free eMobile and a free smartphone. Call 1800 503 303 to sign up for your bundle today.
Life's mishaps can be small things, or they can be bigger things. But 123.ie are there for the small and for the big. We're underwritten by RSA Insurance, and our experts are ready to help you when it really matters. And right now, you could get car insurance for only €249.
123.ie, just log on and save money.
The 2013 All-Ireland hurling final has finished all square. Cork, 3 goals and 16 points. Clare, 25 points. Liam Sheedy, 25 points would win you most All-Ireland finals.
It would, yeah. And if they just could have put one goal to it, and they were so close on the occasion when Podge Collins had his chance, it was probably game over. There was a hammer blow because it went down the other end and finished up in the net. But 25 points, and had a 9 wides as well. Cork only had 3. So really they did play the better hurling, as I said. Very unlucky not to be All-Ireland champions this evening, in my view. We're clear, but they will know now. They'll take a certain amount of belief out of the way they played today. So I'm sure they'll be looking forward to going back training again and getting ready to come back up to Dublin again whenever the replay is on.
And it leaves the two of them in an intriguing situation, Eddie, because Clare will know they probably should have won. Cork will say to themselves, look, in a kind of a way we got away with that. And sometimes you can build on that as well.
Absolutely, and what we're probably forgetting as well is a lot of them Clare boys have to go hurl to 21 on Ireland next weekend, which is another big thing that's going into the mix. But yeah, Cork will definitely look at today and say they didn't do themselves justice up front in particular. Seamus Harmody, with limited possession, had some battle with Conor Ryan. Yeah. Conor Ryan caught a couple of great balls, but Harmody still plucked his 2 points. He was probably one of the only forwards that looked, anyway, threatened. The rest of them, after Patrick Horgan, he could throw a sheet over them really. But at the same time, they've lots to work on. Jimmy will surely say to them, look lads, only for the goals, and it's a stick to beat him with essentially. And Davey will definitely reinforce, look lads, you done enough, you know what you have to do, it's about going out and doing that again. So it sets up an intriguing battle. I mean, the club championship, as we know, Kenny last year took a big blow. Clare now are going to get it. I've called out Davey saying there'll be no sneaking in around the championship between now and the replay, definitely.
I hear what Eddie is saying in the sense that the Cork forwards didn't do themselves justice, certainly maybe in the first half, but in the second half, in terms of getting goals, they did. Yeah, let's have a look at Conor Lehan's goal.
Yeah, they still got 316. This guy has a skill, like playing for UCC. Now Nash is driving the ball. Maybe it's a little bit of breeze with Cork in the second half. And as the boy says, it didn't win much in the air here, but like this is unbelievable here. You have pace and you have power. Picks up the ball here, goes down along the right side here. Now look at this. He's a long way out from goal. But it's still hope now. The Clare backs eventually come, but a screamer of a shot. Now. Pat Kelly had a great game in goals, but he won't be too happy with this if you look at it closely, because he comes out with his hurls kind of hurl pin strong even in his hand. It's still a great goal. If you watch, might pick up in Kelly, but like it's a good shot. It's a vital goal. Look, it comes across his body. The boss is even bent wrong. Watch the boss here. Watch the boss. Oh, won't know he had a great game and a great season. He'd be thinking of that one. He'd be delighted that they're getting a second chance. But Conor Lehan, hadn't a great game in the first half, but he is capable of picking these scores even when he's been well beaten. Brought Cork right back into the game. The crowd right in behind him after that.
By the way, lads, are you doing anything on Saturday the 28th of September? Because that's the day of the replay.
This is very good.
No holidays.
Another day at the office.
Huh? Another day at the office. Chase for tickets begins all over again. We're used to goalkeepers scoring points in Gaelic football and in hurling at the moment, but Anthony Nash put a goal to his name today.
Yeah, and if there was ever a time where he could have put a hole in the net, I think it was probably today. I mean, it was just in fairness to the Cork forwards, they did start to win a few personal battles in the second half and started to get on a bit of ball. And it was noted that when they were on the ball, they were dangerous and they were being dragged to the ground. And some of the Clare guys were looking, but watch this for a shot. I mean, he's right in. It's a goal. And Brian Gavin had went into Patrick Kelly and said, Pat, don't come out near him this time. You got to keep in your eye. But that shot is unstoppable, absolutely unstoppable. And it's fantastic skill that he has with the power that he gets in the ball. At a time again, he brought him back into the game. There were 5 points down at a time, and he brought him back in.
Let's have a look at Cork's third goal, because this was a goal that if Cork had gone on to win this match, Eddie, Clare would have been eating themselves over because they had a goal chance themselves.
Even I was roaring at Podge Collins there. Why did you try to kick that? A little scoop up and he might have been in. But when you think of the look, it hit the crossbar and broke back out and all the way the full length of the pitch. And here we have Stephen Moylan going in and just a little pop pass. And Patrick Cronin says very cool, but that is as good a finish as you will ever see.
Brilliant.
The composure because there was a lot of Clare bodies around him. And he moved away from the goal, but he turned and absolutely picked his spot. And for Patrick Kelly, there was no way he was going to stop that. But what a finish. And as we said earlier, each goal that Cork got, Anthony Nash's and then Conor Lehan's, Clare reacted with a point straight away, which really showed character. And that looked to be the match winner. It looked as if it was going to get Cork at the very least a draw. And again, to be fair to Clare, they never threw in the towel.
Absolutely not, because most teams, Cyril, you take 3 belts like that, you'd be on the floor for a long time.
Yeah, well, and not getting any goal yourself, and probably feel you should be more up. You definitely at half time, and these things when you kind of feel, God, this isn't our day. But I know it went into a little bit of extra time, 2 minutes in the boys saying 30 seconds or 40 seconds on, but I was kind of roaring, even when it was level, that both teams deserved another day. Now Cork, Pat Horgan got another point, and you'd say, well, that's it. Now when the line ball came, you'd think maybe he was going to knock it, very dangerous knocking the ball across. Maybe if you just knocked it into the corner and maybe out, play percentages on. But Clare did get the chance, and the most unlikely hero of all, Donald Donovan came up the hole into the pitch. I'd say in training he hardly ever shoots. Came up the hole into the pitch. He has great pace. He got a lot of stick early on there for dropping balls, hand passes around. But he took a pot and went over the bar, and he'll be the hero after tonight.
Well, he's guaranteed his place in the next the replay anyway. That's for sure. We heard briefly, lads, from Jimmy Barry Murphy, the Cork manager, earlier on the programme. Let's hear from him again now. More considered thoughts this time with Clare McNamara.
Yeah, Jimmy, we heard from you just on the final whistle there. You've been into the dressing room. What's the feeling now?
Well, I suppose like any team in a drawn match, there's a sense of anticlimax, and you've got to go away and regroup now. But the lads, I suppose, are a bit down that if we felt we were nearly there, maybe a bit lucky to be in that situation. But I think overall, as I said already, draw was a fair result.
I suppose you only went into the lead in the 71st minute.
Yeah, I suppose normally it's a good time to lead late on, and you can't give the other team a chance to get back. But they got their opportunity and they scored a brilliant point to equalise, in fairness to them.
Anticlimactic, I know, as you say, but is there a feeling maybe that you got out of jail today?
I'm not so sure about that. Clare played very, very well. Got some magnificent scores, I thought, and they're a superb young team, in fairness to them, and I thought they were a credit to their manager, the way they played and the style of hurling they played. But equally, our lads showed great character because, it was a game we were chasing, as you said, from the word go, and when we needed goals, we got them. I think that's a great sign of our lads' character as well, that they play with great spirit and never threw in the towel.
Yeah, 3 goals, fantastic in an All-Ireland final, of course. But overall, do you think your forwards just didn't get enough ball that they needed?
Well, there's many. We'll look at it again after the collated day. It'll be different maybe, but certainly when we got the opportunities inside, we took the goals very, very well. And we'd like to get more ball into our full forward line, I suppose, and hopefully it might do more damage. But every game has a life of its own, and probably be different again the next day.
They'll be back here in 3 weeks' time. Who has the momentum now, do you think?
I'd say it's very hard to say. I think it's 50-50 again. I thought it was going to the game today. I thought it was about the size of it, and I think the same next day, really. I mean, the two teams are very evenly matched, have been all year, and I'm just looking forward to having another go at it next day.
Yes, we're all looking forward to part 2. Thanks, Jimmy.
Jimmy Barry Murphy himself, of course, and Davy Fitz will have to cross swords again. Cyril Farrell, if you were in this situation now, what would you do over the next couple of weeks, or maybe more importantly, over the next couple of days with your team?
Well, I'd say in the Clare setup, Michael, they have so many. There's 14 in the panel under 21.
In the under 21.
I know what will happen there. They'll have taxis ready after the meal, and they'll be taken down to a hotel in Ennis, and they'll be put into kind of ice baths and into the swimming pool. They'll kind of regroup. And the policy so far has been down there that the week that the under 21s are playing, they're not allowed to hurl. They don't hurl with the seniors at all. Now there's still a big group of seniors there. They'll get together, they'll refocus, and they'll have saunas tomorrow and kind of rub downs and that. And like it's gone very professional now. Like in our time, you wouldn't meet until Tuesday night, but these guys, they could even be meeting this evening, but definitely tomorrow morning they'll be back in again and they'll be refocusing straight away. It isn't what they'll do now. They won't do that much, but it's just to get them. First of all, there's nothing to celebrate. That's nothing to celebrate. Secondly, they're going to have, there'll be 30 or 40,000 experts in Clare and the board in Cork telling them what they could have done, how well they played, and what, you know what I mean. They'll shut that out. Fitzy definitely shut it out. And I was saying to the boys, you'll probably find if he's interviewed, he's going to say, you were very lucky to draw. That's where he's going to say. He's going to play it down the other way. But like, it's a big few weeks. But like, isn't it great to be like? Look at the 80,000 people here today. It'll be the same in the replay. Probably more next Sunday if they can get the tickets. And like the game of hurling that was played today, it's an advertisement for like it was great hurling, great sportsmanship. And I think Jim Barry Murphy and Davy Fitz have produced. There was no extra men back. It was kind of gone back. It was man to man. Everyone hurled their own square as best they could. And like there was scores, there was trails, there was spills. And I'm delighted it was a draw really.
Well, Davy Fitz, of course, as Cyril said, has to cope with not only a replay but some of his players involved in that under 21 final next week. Let's get his thoughts now with Clare.
Davy, this incredible championship goes to another day. What's your overriding emotion now?
Well, if we'd have lost that, it's all the same anyhow, in my opinion. I thought we played unreal stuff, so we did today. A lot of things out there I could talk about, but I'm just going to leave it be, and we've another day out in 3 weeks' time.
Are you left with some anger or frustration?
People aren't blind out there, so just leave it at that. That's it. We've got to go to battle again, and we'll go out there to battle, and we'll see what happens. It'll, like the good thing with Clare and Cork, they're two good hurling teams, and they give everything a head outside there today. And it's probably great for the neutral to watch. Maybe not so great for us, You
don't want to elaborate on anything else for us?
No.
Was it a game you should have won, Davy?
Yeah, we had it won a few times, and they kept being brought back into it, But that's the way it goes, We were only the small little fish.